right?
Yeah, it's instrumental, dude.
Hello.
What up?
Hi, everybody. This is Bill.
We got motherfucking Nate and motherfucking Madden in the building today, round 2.
Hello again, Internet.
Well,
How are you?
Talking metal.
Death Metal episode number 2. I'm drinking Sprite Ginger. I found it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does it still have the lemon flavor to it, or is it straight up ginger?
There's a little bit of lemon lime there.
Okay.
But it's very gingery tasting. Like it tastes like a bougie ginger soda. It's good though.
I don't like ginger ale like that much. Like,
I love it.
it's never my go-to. I'll drink it, but it's never my go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I do like, was it a Moscow Mule? Is that the one that has like the ginger?
Ginger beer.
Which ginger beer is fucking disgusting.
ginger beer is good. Oh,
No.
you don't like ginger beer?
It like
I
burns.
like ginger beer.
It's like so spicy. Like
I know, it's
I'm
good
not
for
into
you.
it, but I
Excuse
do
me.
enjoy those. All right, we're off to a great start.
Yeah, one burp. I didn't do it in the microphone.
It's this is why we need to. Me and Dave were talking about fixing like this room up a little bit more, so you don't hear as much of the reverberation. So like your burps won't catch or be picked up.
Oh
as well.
yeah, okay.
That's okay. That's
Unless
fine.
I'm like
There it is.
into it.
It's fine. All right, so you want to get into it and start talking metal?
We got a couple records for you, like we had discussed last week. Your pick was Unhallowed by Black Dahlia.
Mm-hmm.
Yours was the ever-loving classic Slaughter of the Soul by At the Gates. Mine, modern take, Axis Mundi by Decrepit Birth, which is their last album that they've done recently. So yeah, who fucking rolled? Who's going first?
Me.
You. Okay, so
I think I've gone first like a lot of times. Now
Yeah.
I feel like should go to Vegas after this. Yeah. So yeah, I panically picked Unhallowed by Black Dahlia.
It's a good panic.
I was like, I was like, what the fuck are we gonna do? But no, that album is a cool album to me because I realized as I was listening to it, like it was like in this window where I liked that stuff a lot, and
when that came out.
Yeah, like that stylistic, that style of music, and like I remember like being in my basement, and Tom was like, "You gotta check out this fucking music video for this band Black Dahlia Murder, Contagion." And we're like, "All right," and we saw it, and I was like, "Oh man, this song is fucking really cool."
Yeah, it's a cool song.
And one of the funny things was like, didn't realize that they were from Michigan. Like,
You didn't know that?
no, I was like, where the fuck are they from? And then you see the name Trevor Stround or whatever.
Yeah,
I was like,
Sternad.
are these guys from like Sweden or some
Oh,
shit?
yeah.
Like, who the fuck are these guys? And then like, I don't know, like a week
from
later, thanks
the
to the
D,
internet,
dude.
you look it up and it was like, oh no, they're from Michigan. Yeah. Kind of ruined the mystery of it, but still, awesome band. They're one of the few bands that I went and saw live right away because I wanted to see them.
Really?
Which I'm notorious for doing. Like bands I like, I never fucking go see. And if I do, it's usually like so late in the game that I'm not even that much into them anymore. But it's like, I guess I gotta fucking go.
You gotta fix that, man. You gotta go see bands.
I'm good. And but no, that was the one I've talked about on here before,
Yeah.
where I famously saw them touring on Unhallowed, and they played Fireside Bowl. And yeah, that was like one of the coolest shows ever.
Damn,
And,
you saw
Hell
him.
yeah.
You saw him before I did because I saw him touring on it, but it was when Zach Gibson had already joined on drums.
oh no, this is
It
the
was
OG
at the
drummer.
old,
Corey or whatever.
the old bottom
Cody.
lounge spot.
Cody Gray.
That's awesome. I never went to that show.
I think I was
That's cool.
15. So it was 2003, probably the earlier part of the year.
Okay. Yeah.
And the guitar player who was no longer in the band
John.
wanted weed.
That sounds about right.
And for some reason, I guess I just looked like a 15-year-old stoner, and I felt really bad. I was like, man, I wish I had some. I could be cool with these guys. And
They'll remember it
they
forever.
were they were selling their merch outside of the venue because they didn't want to give them a merch cut or some shit.
Wow. That's very punk
Yeah.
rock. Good
Yeah.
for them.
We lie about merch cuts.
Yeah.
Most
Do you ever have
bands
to do them?
You know, that's a good question. I'm sure it's come up at least once, but it's
kind of,
really not common. Like, I don't think we had to do one at Metro,
That's cool.
but I don't
Really?
actually know.
Kind of surprised by that. I feel
Yeah,
like
me
Metro's
too.
the kind of place that would do that. I mean, like the common. I don't know if we should be giving these like out, but
Oh,
yeah,
come on.
Most people cook the books, if you will, and essentially make 2 sets of books and just say like,
Oh yeah.
and miscount, and like I've seen it all, and it's really funny how.
Oh, I can think of
works
one
out. The only
example.
time you can't get away with it is if they like if it's a festival and they're like, we're selling your merch for you. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay,
I can tell one little story that has to do with Immortal Bird. We went and we played Tree Fort, the festival in Boise, Idaho. It's huge,
Okay.
huge fest. Here we
Yeah.
played. It was headlined by George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic together.
Oh, that was that one.
We did not get to see
hell
them, but they didn't have merch cuts because it was just a show at the Shredder, which is like the metal venue in Boise. Mm-hmm. And
Treefort was at the Shredder?
Yeah, our show. It like takes over the whole town.
Okay.
But like our show was like just the metal show.
Yeah, we played the Shredder.
Yeah, and so it was kind of like a normal show, but they were really adamant about us paying taxes on the merch or like charging people sales tax. And so I think we had to cook the books on that, and we just said we sold nothing or something. I don't remember what we said, but yeah, it was like a huge.
Here's $1. Yeah,
it was a huge thing, and it was like I don't think we really even sold much. You know, it was like being a festival type crowd at like a little metal venue. We did not sell much.
Yeah, we played the Shredder.
I've played there a few times.
I've only played there once. It's cool.
Can you imagine driving all the way across the country just to play there? That's what we did.
No, I couldn't. God damn.
We made a fun trip.
Place,
we made a fun trip out of it. We hung out in Salt Lake City for a couple of days with our drummer's sister, and then we kind of just it was like a nice almost week long experience, but
kind of like a mini vacation with a show.
Yeah, it was
that's
like
cool.
that's sort of what it was like.
That's cool. That's nice to do that.
They got us a hotel room. That was cool.
That's awesome.
That is dope.
And a goodie bag full of like, that was the first time I ever used a beard balm. There was like this company called like, I forget what it's called.
Oh, that's cool. They like gave you guys like a little
because it's outside of the metal world. They like treat artists really, they give them stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, it's
not a metal fest.
Right, it's the leftover from like the big, that makes more sense. No, I remember there was like one time with Soil where, we always pulled that shit like, oh yeah, we didn't sell anything, or we sold like 2 shirts. And like I remember there was one guy that was known for being a fucking asshole, and they were like, yeah, we sold 2 shirts. And he's like, all right, well, that's $5. And they're like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. And they're like, fine, here's your $5. Like, really? Like, you're gonna take that from us? Like, Jesus.
Yeah. I've done that. I've like, we sold 2 shirts, here's $20. Definitely sold more, but
yeah, do you think everybody listening knows about merch cuts and like what that is?
Probably. Well, anybody that's a civilian probably doesn't know about how that works.
A merch cut.
You explain it? I just think it's criminal. I can't believe that it's a thing on any
100%
level.
agree.
Yeah, it's totally
criminal.
bullshit. Yeah. Essentially, a merch cut is just when you're playing at a specific venue and they want to take a percentage of your merchandise earnings. So anything you're selling in your own merch table, they will take a cut out of it.
So yeah, if you're wondering why like some shows you go
Chicago,
to, the shirt prices are like out of hand,
they go
it's
higher
because
up.
of that.
Exactly. Like if you House of Blues is like the prime example of that.
Oh yeah,
sure.
Yeah. I remember the one time I played there with the Infected. They definitely. I don't think we sold more than like a shirt or two because there was no one there.
And
they like counted us in and out and shit, and they had like their people selling it. That's when you can't cook the books. Is if they're like our merch person is selling your stuff, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Charge $5 more for a shirt, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's like where musicians make our money, and they're just like
one thing we make money on, and you're gonna take it from us. Like, come on,
yeah, it's
man.
bullshit. So if you're in a band and they're trying to do that, you lie. Lie
your fucking ass off for that $20.
Dude, who did this to your awesome coaster?
I don't know. People are always picking at these things.
Yeah, I mean, I know people sometimes like have like nervous habits and fidget.
Dave broke one of them once. It might be that one, but he glued it and fixed it. And it was like unnoticeable.
Like back
but I don't know if that's the one.
I don't know. Anyway, Unhallowed.
There it is. Yeah, no. Fun album. I haven't listened to this album front to back in ages.
Really?
Like, so long, yeah.
Oh my God.
I just don't listen to metal, so like I haven't listened to it in a long time. And I had a hard time picking out a song I didn't like.
Yeah, it's a fucking good record.
It is really good front to back. Like if you like that band, it's a great album.
Your track though that you picked, the Closed Casket Requiem, is like probably my favorite song on that album.
It's either that
so sick,
or like Funeral Thirst. I think is a great because it's such a great opener. Like.
Yeah, Funeral Thirst is awesome.
It sets the pace of that album. You're like, fuck yeah, I'm in.
What's interesting about like, because I feel like for a while when Black Dahlia was first starting out, a lot of people used to call them a metalcore band because they had the look like back. If you look at like what they looked like on Unhallowed, they looked like straight like nerds.
Yeah,
fashion, swoopy hair, dyed black hair. It's just like they looked like they were like AFI or something, kind of.
I wouldn't go that far.
I'm almost there.
Almost,
yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting because, like, on a song like Closed Casket Requiem, I was listening to it a bunch today. Just that song on repeat because I love it. And I you got your 2-step part, like that riff, and
Definitely
it's just
hits
so
all the big points.
It's really funny, and then you got all the over dramatic melodies in that song, like the slowdown in the middle and shit. But I don't know, there's something cool about like, I feel like it kind of, that song encapsulates that era of a lot of at least American metal music back then. Just like the style of riffs, the harmonized guitars, you know. Yeah. And it was big everywhere, and that's why I think a lot of people, like if you listen to like their new single and A&B'd it with like any song from Unhallowed, it probably sounds like a completely different band to a certain degree.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they definitely evolved their sound in a good way too, I think.
It totally, they totally almost don't sound like the same band.
Yeah.
I mean, even the vocals, you know, the vocals are way different.
He's definitely gotten better with his sound and everything.
I have so much to say about this album because it was a pivotal album in my life. I mean, I was like 15 or 16, like I said, when I saw them for the first time. And I remember just getting into metal. I was sort of comparing every band that I was introduced to Dead to Fall, because Dead to Fall was like my baseline for metal bands. And I was just like, whoa, some of these riffs are like Dead to Fall, but this shit's like way faster and more crazy. And it really just, I don't know, it was influence on my guitar playing and songwriting. And it led to me, getting into At the Gates and getting into more actual melodic death metal and other metal stuff. They were sort of a gateway band for me, and I still like them. I've probably seen them live 20 something times, not recently, not probably in the last couple of years, but our old band Small Town Murder, we covered Contagion.
Oh,
the only
nice.
cover heavy metal, like actual metal cover I ever did. We played it in drop C instead of C standard, which you can do that.
It's not too hard to transpose that.
Yeah, for that song. I don't think I ever really played some of the riffs. I don't think I ever even played right. I never learned the solo. I don't think either me or James learned the solo. Just like rip some random fucking notes or something. But
sick.
Yeah,
that's funny. Did he do the vocals?
Yeah, he was the vocalist. I mean,
somebody had to
do it. Did it.
Might as well be there.
That's so funny. Yeah.
There's no recording. There's no videos. There's not really any like live videos of that band in general. There should be, but I think
there's
it was
a good
just
house
before,
show video, Small Town.
Yeah,
YouTube.
That's it. But that's even
it's
like
really
later. Cool. I think James was already in college at that point.
Okay,
you can find it, but we're not covering Black Dahlia.
No. It's all this old Small Town. It's a great video at least for us, just because like. Especially for me, because there's so many people in the video that I've now made friends with because of like Nate and all the dudes and stuff like that I see back then. It's so funny. I was like, oh, they're all little kids.
In that
it's
video.
great.
It's really insane. It's like we're having a metal show in this living room of this house in Humboldt Park, and that's what we sent to Media Scare, and they were like, yeah, we'll sign you.
Like sick.
That was it? That's all you sent to them?
Well, no, we had our entire, the recording, like the music. Like, we had appendages totally done. And we were like, here, and then they wanted to see a live video, and it was like, we didn't have any on hand, so we said,
that.
all right, we're just going to throw a house show and see what happens. And we're really lucky that the floor didn't collapse, honestly, moshing in the living room and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
Were you guys the only band that played that night?
Yeah, it was the only way it would have worked.
That's so honestly.
Awesome. And yeah, it was.
Whose house was it at?
Our old drummer Joe. He lived with my friends Clay and Vince.
Oh.
And they had a house that was wonderful, but also it had its issues. It was there was a mice infestation for a while that was super bad. Yeah. Like have you ever been in a house where like you're like
rats or mice?
Mice, little teeny tiny mice, where you can see like the droppings and like, oh shit, we have a problem.
Yeah.
It was like anytime I would go there, I would see one of them running around.
See, that's bad if you actually see them.
Oh, it was horrible.
Did you ever catch it?
A lot of them.
Look at Joe.
I mean, I wasn't really the exterminator, but there was a day when Joe and I were jamming, we were writing music for like 4 or 5 hours, and anytime we would stop, we would hear like and it was a mousetrap going off.
Oh shit!
And I think he killed like 25 in a day.
Wow.
It was insane. Yeah, just with mousetraps.
Damn.
That's terrible.
That was bad.
You ever play Mousetrap the game inside that house?
No.
You should have, because I bet you it might have worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if you don't play by the rules, you just set up the machine.
Nobody's ever
played
by the rules that they just set up the toy.
Yeah, that's usually what I do, which is hard enough, honestly. Like, it takes a long time.
Was it?
And then you get it set up, and then it's like, oh, now we have to play the game? Like, fuck no. Like, I just want to do it. We already spent a half hour doing this shit. Maybe it's not that long.
How does that game even work? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I've never actually.
I don't even have it anymore. I definitely don't have it anymore.
We'll have to find a copy.
We just had not to go on. We're getting so off topic.
I know.
We just don't want to talk about the album. It's okay. I don't want to talk about mine either.
I don't want to talk about metal.
But yeah, Unhallowed.
You were what, like 10?
I didn't know of that record until after I discovered Black Dahlia when Miasma came out, or like when they were on the Miasma cycle. Like,
which one was that?
That's the second record.
Okay.
So I kind of went back and thought even those two records I thought sounded pretty different from each other. Just like the style of the riffs. Like I remember Miasma sounded more like evil to me and more like, I don't know, menacing sounding, because Unhallowed is like very, very, very melodic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like there's almost some riffs on there where I'm like, this could almost be an Atreyu riff, like on that record. It's not that far off, really, if you listen to it. Like some of those riffs are not that far off.
The melodic death metal riffs for sure.
Yeah.
I hated Miasma when it first came out, even though I love that. That's one of my favorite Black Dahlia records. Shout out to Zach Gibson.
Really?
Because it wasn't as fast. That's where I was in my life. I was like, they're playing so slow. Like, why are they playing slow all the time?
What's the slow jam on that? It's like War something.
That's Nocturnal.
That's Nocturnal. I mean,
wrong one.
Miasma as a whole has like
it's a good
fast
song.
blast beats, but like the tempos themselves are not very fast.
Huh.
And it's like there's that chaotic energy. Like, I don't know. I mean, I like to talk about audio production and stuff, but like there's this raw energy because it is super raw on Unhallowed. And then I think, on Miasma, the drums are there's definitely like some editing going on, and like the tempos are like, it's not like they're playing too fast. It sounds for more their abilities.
I think.
Yeah, it does.
Well, they had the money at this point to produce something well.
That album also is kind of raw though. Like I listened to Miasma recently, like not for this podcast or anything, and I realized that like there's a lot of inconsistencies in the guitar tone. Like it kind of sounds like there's certain songs where both the guys are playing and you can tell the difference like of their different instruments and fingers, but a lot of the songs you can tell like one person just tracked all of it. At least the rhythms.
Okay.
Yeah, it's if you listen to it with headphones, it's more apparent too.
I mean, there's some parts on Unhallowed where like I was really listening to some of the guitar playing, and it's like, wow, some of this is not clean at all. And
it's raw, man.
Yeah, there's some clear like fuck ups where it's like, wow, why did they say like, yeah, this is good? Like,
who did they record that with?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I know that the guy Bart.
Yeah, Bart worked on Unhallowed.
He worked on it
before he was in the band.
I don't know
was
if
like an
he
engineer or something,
it.
but I don't. Yeah,
you can look it up right now.
Yeah, I feel bad. I wanted to do like a.
You're usually pretty good about that.
I wanted to do a note taking session for this week, but I forgot that we were doing it this weekend.
God damn you! Every time.
I mean, last time there was actually like
Nate,
confusion.
you keep this up, man. We're gonna get another host for this.
Confusion of the date. Well, no, I mean, I still listen to the record.
We told you like on Monday, dude. Or like we told you super
recently.
I know. But I was planning on doing the note taking session today, and today I woke up to you calling me, and then I just didn't have time.
Fair enough. Like daylight savings time probably threw you off.
It definitely did. It definitely did.
Producer was Mike Hasty, and Bart Williams was one of the engineers.
Okay, yeah, that's why I
Mike Hasty.
Who's the guy that did Miasma? Because
Mike Hasty used to be in.
He did a bunch of other records too.
Excuse me. God damn, I'm sorry. Fuck. I'm like trying to move away. It's just making it worse. Mike Hasty's in Walls of Jericho. Fun fact. He's their guitar player.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting.
But who did Miasma? I want to say that was Eric Rachel.
No, he did Nocturnal.
No, he did not do Nocturnal.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm like Jason Sukoff did Nocturnal. They did it at Audio Hammer.
Are you sure?
I'm like 99% positive.
Look that up.
I'm doing it right now. So
I think you're wrong.
First, we're looking at we are at Miasma. Let's see. Producer Chris Dowen, Eric Rachel mixed it. Chris Dowen and Andreas Magnuson and Randy Vanderbilt.
An awfully bigger team.
Yeah, produced Miasma, and Brian Slagle was executive producer.
Okay.
Alan Duche, right?
Isn't it Duchess?
Duchess? Yeah, fuck, I get it wrong.
I thought it was Douches.
He mastered it.
Couches.
I don't know. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's how I always
Pete
remember
Grossman
couches.
knows. I never talked to him.
Eric Rachel mixed it.
I talked to one of his assistants.
Alan Douches did, is that Babel, right?
Yeah, he mastered Babel for us.
So if you like that master, check out our Babel.
I mean, our new album sounds better, but it's not because of the mastering so much.
So Eric Rachel recorded it. It was done at Audio Hammer. Eric Rachel recorded it. Jason Sukoff produced it and mixed it. And Mark Lewis is an engineer on that as well.
Mark Lewis, who is that?
So we're both right.
Another Audio Hammer guy. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess we both are right. But yeah, they all worked on Nocturnal.
Interesting.
Because I remember seeing videos like on MySpace of those recording sessions. from Nocturnal, and they were like in Florida and shit. Because that's like when Audio Hammer, I feel like, started getting a lot of like
started taking off.
Yeah, but
big names.
Unhallowed's so sick, man. It's just such a fun record, and like I didn't like it at first. Like it took me a while to get into it. Yeah, because Miasma was like the be all end all for me, and then Nocturnal came out. I was like, "There's no way I'm going back." But then,
plus, like it's a little like dated sounding as far as like production,
especially
goes.
At that time too, when like bands like kind of like when you were talking about Despised Icon and Job for a Cowboy were coming out, so you had more of that like hyper grid production and like
oh yeah.
For me to jump back down to something like Unhallowed, I didn't get it for a while, but
I know they'll never do it, but I would love it if Black Dahlia Murder made a record that sounded close to as raw as Unhallowed now, because everybody's like probably a much better player. It would still sound tight. It just would be, maybe would have a little bit more of like an organic energy to it.
Yeah, man. I don't think they're ever going to do it though.
It's a bummer because I
what they're
agree.
doing
They
works
could
for
definitely
them.
pull it off for sure.
Yeah, they could. I mean, they're all awesome players, but I just think the style, like even the songwriting now, it would sound weird. I mean, like if you took one of their new songs and like went down there, I mean, maybe some of them would translate cool like that. I guess I don't know.
I think it would still do well.
Yeah, I went to the Unhallowed 10-year anniversary tour.
I couldn't go
I
to
am
that
really
one.
bummed
At Beat Kitchen, which was fucking wild, dude.
A lot of old dudes like me there.
There's a lot of old dudes, a lot of young dudes, because it was weird because they did it right when Abysmal dropped, like, which was 2 records ago.
Okay.
Yeah, they did it, and I was just like, whoa, this is fucking weird that they're doing it, but cool. And it was with Fallujah and Distant Tomb were on the tour.
Dude, I wish I would have been there.
I know.
I
What the fuck,
I
Nate?
almost went. I think I was hanging out with a lady or something. So hit me up last minute.
Yeah, it's sold out too.
I know.
I was very close to going, and I really wish that I'd been there just to see Brandon Ellis, their lead player, play all those John companion solos that are just like
he probably slept through
I
those
mean,
and just
John
played.
John has like his own distinct style, but it's also like not like. It's not awesome. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Just those,
it works
those
for
that's like every lick in all of his solos.
But yeah, that new kid fucking rips. Like,
Well, Brandon Ellis is like a guitar god, but he probably still had to play those solos from the album. I watched some videos.
Yeah, he did.
Did he do them like verbatim, or did he put his own
diced
little
them
like?
up a little bit,
Mostly, but yeah, I mean that.
You can watch it. There's a shitload of videos on the internet.
I did check some videos out.
If I have to check that out.
But yeah, it was crazy because Ryan Knight was at that show, like standing in the back, like watching, and I was just like, "Wow, you just left this band."
Damn,
like he just left that band too.
I haven't seen that guy in a while. I used to see him around all the time.
It was like an
doesn't live here
amicable
anymore, I don't
split,
think.
though, right?
Damn, we had some really nice talks about baseball and a little bit about guitars, but
Yeah. What'd you say?
It was an amicable split, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I think
he's
just
got a
left-
kid.
he
and
basically
stuff.
passed the keys to Brandon.
That's awesome.
They were talking about it, I think, at that show that our band did, that Roman Ring did with Cannabis Corpse and Revocation. Ryan Knight was there. They were having like a guitar summit that I wasn't cool enough to be a part of in the green room at Reggie's.
Oh,
That's
no
awesome.
shit.
Yeah, I kind of like walked through it to like get a beer from the
And
fridge
they were
or
talking
something.
about-
They were talking about some stuff that I didn't understand, and they didn't want to talk to me.
Interesting. That's crazy.
But that was probably around the time that like they were making friends, and he was like, "Hey, you should replace me in Black Dahlia because you're really good and you get it."
That's funny.
Damn. Yeah, that is nuts. That is pretty wild. But I mean, it's cool that like that fucking Ryan Knight quit Arsis to join Black Dahlia Murder, and then Brandon Ellis joined Arsis to replace Ryan Knight. Then Ryan Knight quit Black Dahlia, and then what's his face? Brandon. Well, he's still doing Arsis technically. He did the last record with them. Not touring,
Really?
but he
I
recorded
saw
on
them
it.
with Taylor Washington playing guitar, and
Yeah.
I was blown away. I was like,
That dude rips too. Watch him take over fucking Brandon Ellis and Black Dahlia 5 years from now.
"Yeah, if he wants to retire,
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, and good for Brandon Ellis. I mean, that dude rips. Like, he's a great guitar player. He's an internet guy for sure, which kind of makes it hard for me to be like, man, another internet guy.
What do you
But
mean by
that's-
an internet guy? Like that's how he got famous.
I feel like he got a lot of his chops. Yeah, I mean,
What was his
he's also
project
like
before Arsis?
he was touring
though?
with that band Silosis for a while.
Was that the Leather Pants Band or whatever the fuck? What was that?
No, he was wearing leather pants when Cannabis Corpse.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
He did a
thought that dude
shitload of
was
bands
kind of
before Black Dahlia.
kind of a weirdo for that too. Like I haven't seen anybody in like this kind of music wearing leather pants.
And he's a
dude.
younger dude too, right?
Yeah, he
younger
was
than
he was
me.
like
Bringing
he
it
was like
back.
under 21 maybe at that time.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, he does Canada.
All
He
the
was doing
leather
Cannabis
torch.
Corpse. He was doing Arsis. He did a ton of stuff. So like he definitely cut his
good
teeth.
resume.
Yeah, and he's a great player. But it's just kind of I don't know. Maybe it's just the age of the internet that makes it a little less, a little more demystifying for me because it's just like, oh, you got a guy that's good on the internet. Like, yeah, it makes sense and it's good on paper and it's totally like plausible. But in my head, it's I don't know. When I remember when Ryan Knight joined, I was like, oh shit, this is about to get fucking wild, dude.
I was so stoked.
But yeah, I mean, it was just like, it was unheard of because Ryan did they did We Are the Nightmare, which was
I jammed that record so hard when it came out. I was like, how are they playing like this?
It was just this fucking insane record. It was just like
4 snare drums, dude. Yeah. 4 fucking snare drums. Totally dumb.
Bad drums. Probably my least favorite drum sound on any death metal record.
Darren Seska's going to come on this podcast.
No, he's not. I'm not allowing him on this fucking podcast, dude.
We have him on the phone right now.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was awesome seeing that album live though, and I don't know, some of those songs like Elder Misanthropy and fucking Thy Horror Cosmic and shit are so sick. That whole record's sick. Honestly, like you're saying. How much of
those songs do they actually play live now? Obviously, they have to do Contagion.
Probably not a lot.
No, I don't even think
they don't even do those.
Contagion is not like a song they maybe bust out Funeral Thirst, I think.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Elder Misanthropy, they do it a lot. They'll do that sometimes. Yeah, Contagion. I've only seen them play it once, and it was at that show.
No shit.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever saw them play it. I mean, because it would have been years ago.
Right. Yeah.
When they were touring on Miasma or something, maybe they would have, but probably not.
Yeah, I mean.
They were saving it for Small Town Murder. They were like, you guys have that song.
Now they're doing. Now they're touring with Testament and fucking Municipal.
I know. I want to go so bad, but it's at the Forge, and I hate that place, and I hate going to Joliet. You know, no offense to anyone that lives there, but like,
no, people at Joliet understand. It's fine.
You mean the Joylet?
The Joylet.
Yeah.
Careful, you can get fined for saying it wrong.
Yeah.
Fine by who?
Some weird ass law.
Authorities. It's one of the laws. One of those like funny laws that they have down there.
Okay, well that makes no sense for a bunch of reasons. Because is it actually Joliet?
Yeah,
it's not right. But isn't it supposed to be like?
But it's spelled like
Juliet?
Toilet. No.
Yeah, Romeoville, Juliet. It's what it's supposed to be.
But it's spelled Joliet. So like,
Yeah.
why not just call it the Joylet? And like, why is it doesn't make any sense?
I know it's a joke. It's like a funny law, but that's like some old ass shit they came up with.
They never even. I don't think anybody's ever been fined.
Yeah, you're not gonna get fined if you go up to a cop and say Joylet. Try it, dude. I'll film you doing it. I'll do it. Shit. They'll probably be like, "Wow, this guy's hot. Let's not find him and give him money."
Actually, let's make him the mayor of Joliet.
Yeah, like,
he has the balls to stand up to us.
I signed a fucking bill to like eradicate the town itself.
Perfect.
The New Testament stuff is actually really cool. I listened.
Yeah, it is really cool. I'm like, I never really got into Testament ever in my entire life, but I did listen to a couple new songs and I was like, whoa, these guys are cool old guys.
I caught a little bit of them at Riot Fest, and I was like
sick they played Riot Fest.
I was like across the park, and I was on side stage for another band, and I could hear them. And I was
like, they need some death metal though. They need like one fucking death metal. Get Black Dahlia on Riot Fest.
I mean,
they would crush.
They would crush.
I was happy last year, but I think that the only reason that they had so much metal was because of Slayer. You know, because I think those bands were like all on tour with Slayer, if I remember correctly.
Have you ever heard Slayer?
Slayer?
Yeah, Slair. Have you ever heard Slayer?
No.
That was a project Alex and Max did in high school.
Oh, I thought you were making fun of how I said Slayer.
No. But it's just funny. Slayer.
Are there audio? Is there audio of this?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Somewhere. Yeah. I think that was with their cousin too.
Nice. I enjoy any Max and Alex side project.
Yeah, no, you're saying it right. I mean, what would you Slayer? You know, it's like you don't need to say it like that. Slayer. Yeah, I like Slayer, kind of.
I don't mind,
but I wouldn't go see him at a fucking. I'd see Black Dahlia at Riot. If Black Dahlia played Riot Fest, I would go.
Well, you know about,
or if Nile played fucking Riot Fest, I would go.
You guys know about
they would never do it.
My experience watching Slayer from the photo pit for their entire set during Riot Fest, right?
The photo pit?
That was like the payoff. Yeah, I was like in front of the barrier, and there's security guards going crazy, and people freaking out and dying behind me, and the pyro was 2 feet in front of me, and I could hear Kerry King's chains jingling while he was playing guitar.
That's sick.
It was good. They just didn't sound very good.
Oh.
Like, I've never seen him with Dave Lombardo, which bums me out. That was my second or third time
with him on
Paul Bostaff.
Oh,
yeah, he's been doing it.
Like, there was when they played Angel of Death, like, Tom Araya stopped singing. Like, I don't know if he forgot the words or something. It was just
his vocals are shot now.
I mean, it was very much like, you know, the farewell tour.
I mean, the guy's literally like held up basically.
Yeah.
He looks very happy. He looks like happy and sad.
This isn't about fucking Slayer. This is about Black Dahlia murder, dude.
Sorry, I changed my album.
How about when you saw Black Dahlia at Ride Fest, huh? You remember that in 2023? It hasn't happened yet. That's why you don't remember.
I don't know anything about the lineup this year other than
they did Warped Tour.
I know. That's what I'm saying, which was pretty cool because one of the DVDs they talk about it, which the
DVD was filmed on Warped Tour.
Yeah, half of it I thought, right, and then the other half is like another tour or something like that. Which I found one of my Black Dahlia DVDs, which I think is like Fool 'Em All.
That's the one.
Is that the one? Okay, I'll have to watch that later.
Yeah, that's the one. That's when Black Dahlia is so fucking interesting, man, as a band. But like, I think it was you who told me that they're like the modern day Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, I've said that.
Yeah, it's like the best description ever.
Why is that?
Because they're consistent as fuck all the time, and they're just a working machine, and they fucking like.
It's true.
People still love them. People
sort of become
still huge.
They've become kind of a household name for like a big death metal band, and they just their albums are consistent, and I don't think they're going anywhere. I said that more because I was like, this is like a legacy band now. They're not just gonna like quit because they can't make any money anymore,
right?
Which happens to a lot of great bands.
Yeah,
like those guys will probably be doing it. At least Brian and Trevor will be doing it until they're real fucking old, or one of them dies or something.
Yeah, it's amazing that they've kept that ball rolling for so fucking long, being a metal band like that.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely
you hear them on the radio.
Definitely cut their own ways, and like I don't know, there's Unhallowed has such a good charm to it. I mean, there's so many good songs on that record. And there's just so much, like I listen to it and not only do I get nostalgic, but it's like sometimes I'll listen to it and I'm like, oh, I forgot how sick this song is. Or like, oh yeah, I remember this song. It's like,
it was like one of the second or third to last songs on the track. I forgot. Like I was like, fuck, dude, this song rules.
Apex
like,
is a good song too. The last song.
It's called like Hymn for
the Wretched.
Yeah.
Yes. I was like, holy fuck, man. Like I don't remember the song being this cool.
Yeah. you're really triggering my brain now because I listened to Unhallowed in so many different cars with friends when I was 16. Like, I just had this flashback to being in Grand Rapids, Michigan when I was maybe 17. And maybe it wasn't Grand Rapids, it was Kalamazoo, but we were like staying somewhere in that area. Anyway, that we went to go visit this girl that I dated briefly, and she wanted like nothing to do with me, and I was super salty and pissed about it. And I remember being in the car together and just like turn the volume up super loud on that album. It's special to me, like I said,
And as it should be.
And if I was like you, Jason, if I'd got into the band later and then I heard it, I don't even know if I would like it.
Yeah, I didn't for a long time. It took me a while to like
maybe
really
a little cheesy or like maybe a little too raw.
I mean, dude, and I should save the story for if we ever do the record. But when Nocturnal came out, the day of, I left school. I just fucking walked out of school. I walked down to FYE on fucking Harlem and Lake, and I bought the shit out of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I walked back to school. But I missed like 2 classes to just go about it.
You should ditch the whole day. What's wrong with you?
I didn't, but it was awesome. It was great.
When you retell that story, tell them that you did go back.
At that point, the record had already leaked, so I'd heard it like a shitload. But like,
I definitely bought it on CD, but I don't remember where.
I have it on CD still. I still have my original copy of Nocturnal. But Unhallowed, I did buy on CD too at Coconut. It was still Coconuts when I got it. So before it converted to FYE, but
and then
man,
straight down the crapper.
Yeah, but there's some. Yeah, I mean, Unhallowed for me. It took me a while to get into it, but once I started to like appreciate it, I was like, "Oh, this record is the shit." And there's so many like I said, listening to it. And it's funny you say that. You like one of the reasons that I ended up going back and listening to it more was because every fucking local band like covered a song from it. I remember what was
I think that's why we stopped. We saw other people doing
everybody
it.
Else was
doing it. Remember Jose Sanchez's band? Forget what they were. Funeral something, but they covered Funeral
Evening
first.
Funeral.
Yeah, Evening Funeral. And it's like
Capsize, we used to do it at practice, but I don't think we ever played it.
They had a recording of their Funeral First cover.
Did they really?
I'm pretty sure, on Funeral First on their MySpace. And I remember hearing that, or at least a video of it, and I was like, oh, they just covered a song like that. And I just remember seeing everybody doing it.
Right.
It was mostly that song too. It was kind of
that song was like what Blink-182's Damn It was for like the punk crowd. That was it for the metal crowd. Like,
which is funny. Yeah.
I think I don't know if I ever told that story. The one time I did it was a show at Fenwick of all places at my old high school.
Did you cover it?
And no, but we were the only metal band on the whole thing, and everybody else, because it was all pop punk was like popular.
What
then.
band was it?
And Capsize, like a bastardized version of it. And
do you want to do a metal cover of Damn It? We should do that.
Yes.
No.
Now I definitely want to do it if he doesn't want to do it. But
Just
no,
Trump
so
pick
like
the riff.
I think it was like 6 bands, and like the other 4 were pop punk bands, and then one was like a ska-ish band. But they all covered "Damn It."
Oh, I thought
all
you were
of
say they
them.
all covered Funeral Thirst.
No, I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Actually,
like, here we go. This next song, you guys know what it is.
Cover of
Dude,
Funeral
stop.
Thirst.
Yeah, I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
Get some horns. Do we know anybody?
No, I don't. Oh, nah.
I got my sax.
Alex used to play
Dude,
tuba.
That's sick. He can play trumpet then.
Yeah, Alex Gloppy Damsky.
He used to play tuba. I don't know why that makes so much sense.
I don't know, because you look at that guy, he's just a.
Was he always like the biggest kid?
I mean, Max trumps him.
I know, but like of his age or whatever.
Probably.
Because that's the guy that played tuba in my school
always
band.
the
It was
big
like, he was the biggest one. And they were just like, you're going to play tuba.
Rick,
Because you
tuba
can
player.
carry it around.
Really?
You know?
Rick Tauber.
Does he
Yeah.
still have one?
No. I don't think he does. I don't know.
Damn, Rick's got to come on the show.
He never wants to.
I know, fuck him,
too
man.
cool for
Rick,
us.
are you listening to this, dude? Come
don't even know
on
if he
our
listens
show,
to this.
goddammit.
I like you, Rick.
Call him
I
out.
love Rick.
I love Rick too, but yeah, you motherfucker, get on here.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Unhallowed rips, sick record.
It was another thing that was funny is like I remember it was like the first time I really heard about like triggering of drums.
Did they trigger drums on that record?
Definitely.
Kick drum for sure.
Kick drum,
Okay.
definitely.
I'm
And I
pretty
remember
sure,
like
I'm pretty sure that's it.
it's what started the whole like you're not cool if you trigger your drums, and it was like this
That
whole
started that for you?
in my area of like metal and stuff.
That
and,
album?
Like, I just remember being conscious of it after that and
Okay.
being like, whoa, wait, triggering, like what
That
the
was like
fuck?
the landmark.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
like we started seeing like bands starting to do it, and we're like, oh, you're
Yeah.
not cool because you trigger, and now every cocksucker triggers unless
Like me. Yeah.
Not everybody, Bill.
Okay.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. That's cool though. I mean, so why'd you pick? What's your least favorite song on that record? How about that, huh?
I was thinking about that, and I would just say like, and I do like it. I don't hate it in any way, but I would say Contagion only because I've heard it a bajillion times.
Oh, I was kind of going to say
I've
that
played
too.
it.
And it's not that I don't like the song, but it's like
just I've heard it so many times, and I've played it a shit like that and Funeral Thirst are the two songs
Yeah,
that
I think
I
Funeral
love.
Thirst is mine because of that reason too. I've heard
Right.
it so many times.
But
It's
it,
like, ugh.
what I love about those songs is like if you're in a band that anybody is remotely into heavy music in our age, they know that riffage, and you could all play it together
yeah.
in like 2 seconds. Like it's
That's
the
why,
best.
dude. When I put on this record, I skipped the first 2 songs. I was like, starting with
Really?
yeah, started with
That's
Elder.
funny.
Yeah, because I
Obviously,
started
the
listening
first
to
was just
Funeral
a-
Thirst, and I was just like, ugh, I've heard it a billion fucking times. And Elder Misanthropy just sets shit off, dude. It's just like immediately like you're fucking punching somebody in the head. Kind of. It's not that tough, but it's cool and it's energetic. Definitely has that punk rock feel to it. You know what I'm saying,
Absolutely.
Nate?
well, yeah, they had that in the early days.
Yeah.
Black Dahlia Murder was like the punk rock death metal band.
Well,
Like,
they were
didn't-
punk. Like
they
Trevor
didn't-
was a punk dude.
Yeah, they didn't look. They didn't all have long hair. They didn't take themselves too seriously. They were just like, we love to smoke weed and we play these riffs and we tour hard and. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy that I still kind of keep in touch with Zach Gibson a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's.
But he wasn't on
I've told him.
Unhallowed,
I know
so.
he wasn't on it, but I told him the story about the first time that I saw them when he was like 18 or 19 years old and I was 15 or 16, whatever it was, and how like he remembered it.
Yeah, I'm sure he
'cause
does.
It was like he was on tour. He was like the kid of the band.
Dude, that fucking like 4-hour conversation with him I had at that Gut Rot show was like life changing to me.
That's awesome.
Have you seen that new Shit Life music video? The Rain and Bud
yeah,
video.
I did see it. It's
That's just
insane, dude.
awesome. Whoever
Yeah.
did the animation, I don't know who did the animation. It's so
I don't know
cool.
either.
They captured those.
Posted it.
Yeah, they captured. Everybody should check it out.
Yeah, I gotta hit up that.
I was
dude.
gonna
haven't
wear my
talked to
Shit
him in a
Life
long
shirt,
time.
and then I didn't change my shirt after
Well,
we.
fuck, Nate.
I didn't get
Is that
sweaty
the
enough.
latest Zach Gibson project?
Yeah, Shit
Yeah.
Life. They're like a grind band. They're really cool though.
Because I remember what was another band he was in? I
Gut Rot.
I saw him at Cobra Phobia.
He played in Phobia for a bit.
Yeah.
He's been in a lot of fucking.
That was
bands.
really
Yeah.
cool.
But he's the shit, dude. That was
Is he a Michigan guy? Where's
Yeah,
he
Yeah,
from?
they're,
yeah,
those
he's
are
a
from
Michigan
Detroit.
guy.
They,
Okay, yeah,
the
yeah.
Shit Life played with Immortal Bird in Detroit.
Oh, awesome.
Right after our album came out, actually.
Oh, cool. Hell
At
yeah.
Cellarman's, R.I.P., another cool venue, brewery that went under. We played like the second or third to last show there back in July.
It's 'cause
I learned how
they
to
closed.
I learned how to do play blast beats from learning a Vulgar Picture.
Really?
Yeah, like Zap Gibson was like the first drummer where like I could listen to it and kind of pick apart what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And because I mean, other than that, it was like Demigod by Behemoth, which is like way fast as fuck and hard to figure out. And then Annihilation of the Wicked by Nile, which is also way fast. And it's like,
that's crazy.
Like Black Dahlia at least made it seem like, oh, these are like, and it was like,
it's just there, you know? Yeah.
Unhallowed set the precedent that Black Dahlia are just a bunch of sick dudes. They're sick dudes. And I mean, that's like what they're known for now almost. And it just made it feel so like, oh, these guys aren't some larger than life brooding, you know, dudes. They're just regular. They were like nerds, you know,
pretty down to earth.
Yeah,
like I've had encounters with them, and like it's fun. They're nice. They're awesome.
And when I used to be like my metal encyclopedia self, I mean, I used to look up to Trevor so much just because of like all the shit he knew. He still is.
He still is. Yeah, it's just this metal encyclopedia person that like seems to have like a pretty good ear to the ground as far as like keeping up with like metal, which is crazy.
Definitely. It is crazy,
clearly,
right?
like that dude fucking loves metal.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, he's probably aware.
He dies.
I'm sure he's aware of Warforged. Like, I'm sure he's.
Oh, I'm sure.
Maybe he's heard Roman Ring. I don't know. I mean,
probably not. But he's definitely.
Bill, you'd be surprised, man. When I tell people out on the road that I'm also in Roman Ring, maybe they're pretending. People are always like, "Yeah, I've heard of that band."
I feel like they're pretending when they're
But why pretend?
Like, because they don't want to hurt your feelings.
I'm not going to be hurt by that if you don't know about the band that I'm in that isn't the band
I
you
would
just
prefer
saw me.
Nobody knows.
I don't know. Like I get, especially after our show on Wednesday, man. Like that kind of like reminded me, like, oh fuck, like. Since me and you are in bands now that do shit, people like know of our band because of our other bands.
It was really funny how many people kept coming up to all of us like throughout the night, like, oh my God, you're in this band. Like, oh, you're in this band, right? You're in that band. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like,
the two guys that I sold merch to were both guys that knew Warforged. And I was
so
like, and they were like, oh, can we get some shirts? And I was like,
do you wear? I hope you wear a specific size.
We have them. We have the shirts.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh man, that's super cool. The show Wednesday was really.
Oh, I gotta take out. One guy PayPal'd me for a shirt, so I gotta take out that cash.
Oh, that's fine.
It's like $20.
Really sweet experience. I'm really glad we did it. I hope that we can keep.
And
then we can plug the whole thing at the end. But
true.
Good things are happening with our collective band.
Yeah, definitely.
We talked about we did that show. Hopefully you guys made it out to it. Whoever listens and is around for checking out shows. But yeah, we did our first show in almost a year.
Yeah.
11 months, right?
Which is crazy. Yeah. But it felt amazing to play that show. Like,
it did.
We practiced enough. That was part of it.
Felt good, yeah.
And
I just, like, leading up to it sucked. I was having such a horrible, like, couple of days, if not weeks. And then it was nice to play that show. And it was just like, all right, I don't have to worry about anything right now. I just got to play this set. And it was fucking so much fun. Like, like I think I had a smile on my face for most of that show, which was
fun. Yeah, it was awesome.
I wasn't making one of my dumb metal faces. I was smiling. Yeah.
I wish there was like a video or something of me when you were playing the solo in, I think it was your solo in Vatican City, and I did the knee slide.
Yeah.
I didn't even see it.
No bruises on my legs. I haven't done a knee slide in a long time because I used to.
The miracle of doing a show.
Around like 2014, that was like one of my stage moves, and I kept doing it. And if you don't land right, you're going to get a huge bruise on one of your knees. It's just like, but if you land right, kind of almost more on your shins, then you're fine. And I was able to execute it successfully.
Well, it looks like you need to practice that one.
Yeah, how come you don't do those at practice?
I don't know.
Would you do one at practice?
In our practice space, I'd probably get like a wicked
way too much carpet
burn.
Even if you have jeans on?
Well, maybe it wouldn't burn me, but I might not like.
If I
slide.
We can try it on the
floor. You got to be able to slide.
Out front.
If I have my van, I'll bring up the piece I have in the back and we'll just set it on
would
the
you
floor.
do that?
Oh yeah, on that thing. That thing is like you could like moonwalk on that shit.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
I'd probably slide like 15 feet.
Cool. Let's
slide
try
right out the door like Kevin McAllister in Home Alone.
Yeah. So okay, Black Dahlia, sick record. What's next on the docket, Mr. Madden?
Is he next or you next?
I don't fucking remember. No, I'm last.
Jason had the 1.
Right?
Yeah,
one.
So
I'm
rolled
number
the 2.
1. We got Okay, good introduction to this band. If Black Dahlia would not exist if it wasn't for this band, for sure, without a doubt.
You can definitely hear the overlap.
Yeah, the album.
Oh yeah, they even say it blatantly. They're like At the Gates.
Yeah, the album I chose is Slaughter of the Soul, the classic At the Gates album. That was another pivotal album for me getting into metal. And part of the reason why I chose it was it's significant to me, but also I recently discovered the full dynamic range version of it.
I saw that on Spotify, but I didn't listen to that.
Yeah, I listened to the OG one.
Oh, really? So essentially, I don't know if it's unmastered or if it's just mastered at a more quiet level, but it sounds almost completely different to me as somebody that had listened to the original version so many times. I don't know which one I prefer. That's sort of the hard thing is I have this emotional attachment to that initial version, that initial master where everything is really compressed, and it kind of makes the drums hit harder, and it makes, for whatever reason, you hear the bass less. But yeah, listening to the remastered or whatever it is version, the full dynamic range version, it almost sounds like they re-recorded it. And so it sort of like reignited my love of the record, and I've just been listening to that version over and over and over again. And I love At the Gates. I got to see them on the Suicidal Final Tour, which was their initial comeback. Obviously not their final tour. They followed it up with
I remember that
At War with Reality, and I love that album, even though it's kind of almost a clone of Slaughter of the Soul. But like, again, I know I focus a little too much on the production side of metal. It's just something I've studied a lot. But one of the things that I do think is missing from the new At the Gate stuff is the feel, particularly of just the drums. Like the fact that like it's a person playing it, and like especially with those really awesome triplet thrash beats, they almost have like a swing to it, and it just creates this foundation that I don't think is there on the newer At the Gate stuff.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I know I want to talk more about the songs too, for sure. But that was just sort of like listening to this album again, over and over again, both the full dynamic range version and the original master. I was like, oh wow, like these riffs aren't that complicated. Like these songs are structured out almost like pop songs some of the time, but
every drum beat.
Yeah, I don't know if the mics will pick that up. It's not actually everyone, and that's part of the reason.
Felt like it.
Part of the reason why I chose the song that I actually chose. I mean, I know you guys announced that it was Blinded by Fear.
Yeah. I like that you chimed in the day before or yesterday.
Yeah, I wanted to do. I'm sorry, but I wanted to do Cold because it has a really cool like. Yeah, it's not just your triplet thrash beat. It has like a really, at least in the intro, it has a really cool like 3/2 kind of feel to it that you don't really hear.
And that song's baller too.
Yeah, the solo is awesome, and I don't know if they do that when they play it live. I haven't seen them since the Suicidal Final Tour.
I said they played it live when I saw them, and
they actually played the solo though.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, because I thought it's either that or maybe another solo that like at least at the time when they were active, like they wouldn't play it live because it was too hard or something like that. It's got those crazy like whammy bar like flutter things.
Yeah, which is so sick. I love it when any guitar player does that. I'm like, whoa, why don't we? You and you.
We don't play Floyd Rose guitars.
Well, you will now.
Band. I do.
I mean, I have my Sir. I could get maybe set up.
Do some of that shit, man. Why aren't you making fucking?
I'll just get the pedal.
It's a slippery slope. That's sort of my answer to it.
Did you get your pickup, by the way?
Man, that's a whole thing that I don't even know if I want to talk about on here because I'm so mad at Franco right now about it.
Oh, God. Let's talk about it later.
No, it's fine. We'll talk about it. Let's get it out of the way. Nah.
I can go pee and you can talk about it. He just
bumped me out because I was like, oh, hey, man, like, I'll leave the guitar at the practice space and you could just pick it up whenever. And his response, well, why would I need to come to the practice space at any point in time until, like, practice? I was like, we're not going to have this argument. And in my head, I'm like, dude, you practice 5 minutes away. You could just scoot over.
You mean you work?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever, buddy. So not gonna have that guitar ready for Thursday, unfortunately. I have a show Thursday.
Do you?
Yeah.
What show?
I don't know. It's something is waiting, obviously, because you guys are here and you don't know about a show.
Well, I think I know about it because I hung out with Eddie this week.
Is it the Livewire one?
But I'm trying to think of which show it is. It's not that one.
It's not that one.
Reggie's?
It's not Child Bite and
I don't think that's April 1st, I think.
Are you doing the Bongzilla one?
That's what it is.
That's at Reggie's.
Yes.
Oh. Maybe I'll go.
Nah, don't do it.
If you guest list me.
Fuck no.
Would you?
Nah.
Yeah, you would. Look at you.
You only get one.
You only get one spot? Yeah, give it to me.
Not going to you.
Eddie's haunting me about gear. I got to hit his ass back up. But
again?
Yeah, because he's trying to get like a whole wedding set up. I got to figure it out though. I haven't gotten back to him, but I'll probably get a guest list on that. You too, motherfucker.
Nah.
Come on. Nah. Maybe. Anyway, I don't even know if we go.
We're really good at not talking about the actual record.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So Slaughter of the Soul. Where were you when you first heard it, Nate?
You know what? I might have been.
I know where I was.
I might have been in Johannes Chan's. I might have been in his Buick that he used to drive when we were 16.
Skylark.
Probably heard it on an iPod for the first time. It wasn't a Skylark. I can't remember what model it was. It was a sedan of some kind.
Okay.
Yeah, see, when I knew Joey.
What was the car that used to belong to John Voight that George Costanza buys on the
LeBaron?
Yeah,
LeBaron. Chrysler Baron, yeah.
Yeah. Driving around in John Voight's
He chewed on that pencil.
Yeah. The dentist, John Voight. Yeah.
I think that's so. Yeah, I mean, again, with the original version, the not full dynamic range version, I think I have much more of an emotional response to when I hear it. You know, you just hear like,
yeah, it brings it
honestly,
back. It's a time capsule.
The first song is with the intro. I don't like intros a lot, but I love the intro to that song. Mm-hmm. And if there's a great video, I think it's on YouTube. I don't know what it's called, but it's Thomas Lindbergh and Frederick Nordstrom, the producer?
Yeah.
It's the two of them kind of like going and they're in a studio kind of listening to the individual tracks, and they talk about the intro to the album and how they wanted to do something, and they brought in this industrial artist. I don't know if they name him. They probably name him in the video.
They do, yeah.
And they talk about how they were like, yeah, there was this crazy guy in, and he's like hitting a dildo with a frying pan. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, that's what that fucking sound is? That's insane. So I've done a lot of weird stuff in the studio, but I've never actually hit a frying pan with a dildo.
Well, it's been
or
done.
a dildo with a frying pan. However they did it.
Depending on who hit
chicken
or the egg.
Exactly.
Right?
That's a weird sound too. But,
and I forget whose voice is it that's talking. They say that too. Where he's like, we are on ride, waiting to be born.
I thought it was Thomas Lindbergh.
It probably is. But then just hear that da-da-da-da. It's just like the best intro to an album ever.
Dude, that album is so fucking iconic. Oh my God. I don't even know where to begin, dude. There's so much. I know where that video's from. It's from the Making of DVD, which I have with my CD copy of it. Like Earache, Earache was doing doubles.
Sorry, go ahead.
Earache was doing like remasters all the fucking time because that's all they do as a label, because they don't really sign a lot of new artists. They just bank off like their
good money. Yeah.
Big ass hits. Like, and good for them, you know? Like, they know how to do it, and I still bought it. But like, my copy of Slaughter of the Soul has a bonus DVD, which has like all kinds of crazy features, including a making of. I also have an At the Gates DVD from their reunion tour, the first reunion tour they did. And it's got crazy history on the band. Like, that dude, Thomas Lindbergh, their vocalist, is like an OG, like diehard metal dude. Like, he would do tape trading and shit. Like, half the DVD isn't even about the band. It's about like his knowledge on metal and like,
oh really?
Yeah, like the metal in Sweden
awesome.
and shit. It's just nuts, dude. It's fucking wild. But that record, I was in high school. Are you on your phone, Nate?
I'm looking at the tracks.
Okay.
So I'm trying to remember the name of a couple of the songs.
And I first heard, like, I kind of discovered At the Gates when I discovered In Flames and Soil Work. All this shit kind of came to me, and I was like, whoa, you know, like, and I remember thinking At the Gates was just like, I was like, holy shit. I'm like, this is everything I want. Like, when I heard that record, Slaughter of the Soul, everything I wanted was,
they're
was
like
in
the
that
best
record.
of that style. And then they broke up, at least for a while.
They did one record. They had a few records before that, but even if you listen, like Terminal Spirit Disease, the record prior to Slaughter of the Soul, you could kind of hear them going in that direction, but like Slaughter of the Soul was just so like holy, like all those songs are bangers, dude.
Every song is good. Like, I was looking at the tracks just now because I'm trying to think, like, do I have a least favorite song? And I was like, well, maybe I'm going to choose, like, I actually really love the interlude track. That's the one I was like looking up.
Yeah.
It's called, I'm looking at my phone. It's Into the Dead Sky, right?
Yeah, that's a great song, though.
It's actually really awesome. I mean, I guess my least favorite maybe is The Flames of the End, the outro, but I actually like that too.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like an experimental, like, it's not quite industrial, just like some keyboards and some, the way that the drums sound is kind of like artificial, but it's a person playing it.
It threw me through a loop, like hearing that for a second. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
But
interesting.
With the feedback and stuff, it's like, it is kind of an experimental thing. And as a cap on the album, I like it more than, other kind of more outro tracks. I don't know if I really have a least favorite song, because I feel like they were really diligent, and maybe they threw songs away, maybe they didn't, and just making every song good. And
mine is maybe Unto Others, I think, might be my least favorite.
You got to sing me the riff.
I don't know. That's the only reason why, because I'm recognizing, I don't remember that one.
I always listen to it. Like, I always catch myself like, okay, I'm going to put this album on before I know it. I'm all the way through. You know? And I think that's a sign of a great record.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
I mean, I don't expect them to ever top it.
Yeah,
but hopefully they'll do like a 30th anniversary, like full album tour, something crazy like that someday.
Maybe, man. I mean, it's weird that the trajectory that band had, being a band that like wrote such a seminal record. Like,
how did they break up? Like you said that you saw the DVD.
Yeah, I forgot. They talk about it in the DVD. I don't really know.
I know they did the Haunted. A couple of guys did the Haunted for a while.
Yeah, the guitar player, the guitar and bass player, the brothers.
The Haunted always disappointed me just because it wasn't at the Gates.
Oh man,
not that they're bad.
So fucking sick.
But
did you ever like that band?
No, I don't even.
Way different than At the Gates. Completely different.
Definitely not At the Gates.
Don't really like At the Gates.
So you can talk about it then. Did you even listen to the whole album?
Yeah, no, I did.
Is that the first time you heard it?
Yes.
Is that where you're like, I remember?
Yeah, I remember exactly.
Like,
I was in my bedroom 2 days ago listening to it. Also, fun fact, I learned how to play the title track because Tom and Mike and Jack like loved this band, and understandably so. Like, I understand the impact that this album had on like a lot of people.
Yeah, it was big.
In our world.
So if I gave you a guitar right now, you could play it?
Probably not, dude. That was like 10 years ago. I'm sure I could. Give me like 2 seconds. I used
to play the drop C at sound checks because I thought that was cool. So I know I could probably bust it out.
Yeah.
What is it recorded in standard?
I think they play in drop B or B standard.
Okay.
I think it's in a B tuning of some kind.
But yeah, I just remember like.
Also, my favorite HM 2-tone ever. It is an HM 2-tone, but it doesn't sound like a bunch of bumblebees.
That's
I think
funny.
so.
I just remember like they liked it for many reasons. Like one was like the action vocals in that, where it's go and they like go into it. Like it's so much fun. It's a fun riff. Like I remember like Tom showing it to me. I was like, oh, that sounds like fun. Like,
I remember there's some story about that go. Like they made Thomas Lindbergh like run around or run down a hallway and then scream go or something
Really?
like that. Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah. All right, pass your boy another.
So like I would say that my favorite song
out.
is the title track, just because of the fact that I loved playing it with my band at the time. Like it was just fun. It was something fun to do. We never did it live, but like at practice when we were like fucking around, we're like start playing it. Yeah, just for shits and giggles.
It's funny that you bring that up because I think Small Town Murder would have covered an At the Gates song, except our other guitar player did not like them.
Really?
I don't think he did.
Me and James
never liked
him. I
don't think he was definitely not as gung ho about that band as the rest.
Just started
of us.
a band with James. Damn it.
Did Andy like him?
I don't know. I would say that maybe it wasn't as big of a thing for him.
Right?
Yeah, me and Joe really geeked
I have
out
a
about
Slaughter
that
of the
band.
Soul shirt somewhere. It doesn't fit me anymore, but I had
Not
one.
yet.
Is it too big?
I think it's gone.
It's
no,
too
it's
small.
too small.
Oh.
It was an XL, but yeah, it'll fit me soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, At the Gates, I have an interesting story. It's not that interesting, so I take that back. But I have a story about this record where
very mediocre story.
one of my high school band. It was one of the first shows we had ever played opening for like a touring package, and the bands were in it. It was Rose Funeral, the Breathing Process, and a band called like Red Eye Flight or something like that. And
I remember Rose Funeral. I
Funeral was still a
did
band, I
sound
think.
at a show they played at Arlington Heights Knights of Columbus.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Who's in
Breathing
that
Process is still a band too.
I don't know.
But
They're not
anyway,
from
I
here.
remember talking to the guitar player from
were.
the Breathing Process because we were just like trying to talk and hang out with these dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about like bands, and he made a point. This is, I mean, maybe kind of diffusing at this point, like in time now, but at the time he was like, you know what? He was like, I always consider Slaughter of the Soul to be the first metalcore record, like to inspire all this American like bigger metalcore shit, like Killswitch Engage and As I Lay Dying.
Inspired it a lot, but it's not a metalcore.
No, it's clearly
record.
not. He knew that. He was like, yeah, it's not a metalcore record.
Where's the
metalcore
core? The core's not really there.
Yeah, exactly.
I think maybe in like the structure a little
also,
bit.
bringing it back to Dead to Fall, like I think that was another thing that like you can obviously hear, especially on Everything I Touch Falls to Pieces, the first Dead to Fall album, which I used to listen to every day because they were like my first metal band essentially. That wasn't Maiden or Slayer or something like that. And you hear that so much. Like, I think they play in the same tune. I think they play in B or drop B, and they sort of like at the what's that song? At the Gates of Hell or something. That Dead to Fall song is basically a ripoff of an At the Gates riff,
Yeah.
And obviously, like, yeah, it's heavily there in all the quote unquote like new wave of American heavy metal bands, like you were saying, like with Killswitch and As I Lay Dying. And
Yep.
God, I don't want to talk about As I Lay Dying.
We won't.
Somebody made me listen to that band the other day, and I'm like,
All right, well, let's not talk about it. You just said you don't want to talk about it. Now we're talking about it.
I know, but you said I should have just brought up other bands from that movement. I'm sorry.
Shadows Fall.
Yeah.
All That Remains. Yeah, you could hear the
God
inspiration
forbid.
there.
Put God forbid in there.
Trivium, you could hear like those harmonies and
Oh
shit.
man, I listened to Trivium. I tried. I gave Trivium another chance the other day, and I was just like, nope, not for me.
What did you listen to?
I listened to their new shit, and then I also went back
bad
and I
move.
listened to their first album a little bit, and I listened to the
Good
Crusade
move.
a little bit.
Bad move. You missed Ascendancy. That's the record you're supposed to
I think
listen
I listened to. I was just on I watched a Matt Heafy video, like him like showing off all of his guitars, which is actually a really entertaining video.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this guy seems pretty cool. Why do I always not like Trivium? Like, and I went back and I was
suck.
like,
Shit.
it's
That's
super,
why.
it's super cheesy. And the
Yeah.
moments where it's good, at least in the early shit, is just blatant Metallica ripoffs.
What? What early the Crusade? Yeah, but not like
That's-
Ascendancy.
I mean, I don't know.
Those
It's
are
just-
At the Gates ripoffs,
I
dude.
think about
You're getting it wrong.
I think about the vocals. Is like that's really, like I'm thinking about the vocals.
He doesn't
stuff.
sound like James Hetfield,
He
though.
tries to.
Oh, on the Crusade, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. And the new shit, yeah. But when they were just screaming and like singing
The
choruses,
new stuff was I found the new stuff kind of interesting. It was just very, it's blatantly like
They got a record coming out.
commercial as fuck. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a single from their record that's not out yet. But whatever. I mean, they're a huge band.
that record Ascendancy. Oh my God, was it huge on me when it came out? That was like a big one for me and all my friends. Like,
wasn't brutal enough for me at that point.
oh yeah, clearly that's the clear age gap
Yeah.
here. But At the Gates, oh man, I got to do an old In Flames record on here. Maybe that will be
cool.
my next one. But like, yeah, discovering like this whole Swedish scene and like realizing you could implement so much melody and like into metal was like, for me and my friends, it was all this whole new world shit. We were like, whoa, because we knew of bands like Killswitch. We knew of bands like As I Lay Dying. We knew of bands like Shadows Fall. And
Did you guys ever fuck with like Darkest Hour? Like you
Yes.
don't like
Yeah,
that
oh, yeah.
band. Or you do like that or don't like that band?
I
can't
like a
remember.
few of their records a
Weird
lot,
stuff.
yeah.
I feel like they're another one of those like,
dude, they have some
rip-off
yeah.
At the Gates.
They had a song with Thomas Lindbergh on it, the singer from At the
Oh,
Gates. Yeah, he was on Hidden
There
Hands
you
of a
go.
Sadist Nation. He was on like the title track on that
yeah.
record.
Oh, dude, I had that album.
Yeah.
Terrible vocals. But yeah, a lot of
They toured with, they were on that tour that you saw, Suicidal Final Tour. Darkest Hour was on that.
Yeah, they
Darkest
were.
Hour and Municipal Waste.
They were, and the response was maybe the worst I've ever seen a band get.
Yeah, which was
Really?
because it was not a good idea.
I don't know why. I didn't think it was that bad. I
Why
mean,
would it not be a good idea?
Because they're clearly a metalcore band, and At the Gates is for like old heads and shit. Like,
yeah, I mean, it just, I think
There's gotta be some
you got to
overlap
understand
there, right?
at the time, like myself and probably everyone there thought we would never see At the Gates. I missed out.
Fair
I was
enough.
too young
Right.
in 1995 or whenever they broke up. And so the fact that they were doing a tour was like, oh my God, this isn't really going to happen.
Right. This is it. This is your
And
chance.
yeah, and then I think that people are just, it's like certain bands you don't really want to be the opening band for. And in that situation, everybody in there is just like, all right, hurry up, just play your set, get the fuck off the stage so I can get what I came here for.
yeah.
And that sucks. It's a shitty mentality if you're a music fan, but it's just sort of the reality of the situation.
It's like when I saw Bullet for My Valentine open for Iron Maiden.
Oh
Go
my
figure.
God. How did that go? I remember that tour getting
Not good.
Interesting.
It did not go good. And Iron Maiden also tanked too.
Really?
They played their whole new record front to back that was
Oh,
out that
no.
time. It was I was so bummed.
Which
dude.
record was that? Do
A
you
Matter
remember?
of Life and Death.
Yeah, that's no good.
It sucked, dude. I was so upset. I was so bummed, dude. We were, and I liked
Oh,
Bullet for My
man.
Valentine at the time too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, hell yeah, I
Oh,
did. I had that
God.
record.
Age
it
gap,
sucks.
right? They suck.
Yeah, dude. Your tears don't fall. You don't remember that?
I just
shit?
remember the song Scream, Aim, Fire, and I was like, this is a real song.
This was pre that.
Oh, it was
this
before
was
that.
their first record. Yeah, that was their second record, Scream, Aim, Fire. That's when we were all like, Me and Alex were listening to a
Tapped
Bullet
out.
for My Valentine song the other day, though, and admitting that it was good.
I don't. If I've heard a
Admitting
song,
that
I
it
don't
was
remember.
good, like
Yeah.
a new one.
No, like from that record, from
Are they
Scream,
still a
Aim,
band?
Fire. Yeah, they are still a
wow.
band. Now they're like that type of like arena rock style sound shit. I'm
I mean,
pretty
they're
sure.
from Wales. It's different. It's like,
Yeah.
Trivium in America. I don't know where Trivium would even play in America, like venue wise.
They played Concord
But I think
here
that-
with
yeah, I think
Arch
they-
Enemy.
don't they
Oh
play-
my God, I heard a new Arch Enemy song the other day. Oh, was it bad? Oh my God.
Damn, with Jeff Loomis on it too.
Yeah, that's why we watched it. I was
really?
hanging out with Jason. We were drunk and high, and we were watching fucking. We were like,
Fuck yeah.
because Jason's like huge on Jeff Loomis.
Jeff
and Jason's
Loomis
huge on
rules with the
Nevermore.
guitar. I don't really like Nevermore very much, but
I
They were
never
like-
listened to any of his projects, but that dude rules.
Big Jason influence, which
you
is
never
like,
listened to
interesting.
any of his bands ever.
I don't like any of them.
I mean, I don't like Nevermore.
I don't really like Nevermore
never
either,
liked
but
Nevermore.
Did you
Jason
listen
likes
to
him a
his
lot.
solo album?
I saw him live with that one. I believe that was his solo album.
Yeah,
Periphery?
the Periphery show and shit.
Yeah.
They had to stop playing.
Yeah,
because he was
because-
like, "Oh, first night of tour."
Sorry, it's the first time all of us have ever played together. I was
Oh,
like,
man.
holy shit.
Why did they stop?
They just
They fucked
fucked
up a song or something.
Yeah, and they're on tracks, so they had to stop.
Well,
otherwise it was like an insane performance on all of their
I've never
part.
listened to a solo record front to back.
I did when it came out. I mean, I just think he's a great guitar player.
He's a great guitar player.
He's amazing.
I mean, I think he's doing Arch Enemy to get some
money to pay for the solo.
I mean, shit, he probably has an awesome life doing that.
Yeah, I mean, but they've gotten so. I used to fucking love Arch Enemy. That was another band around that.
Wages of Sin. I remember them. I remember when I was the first time I heard that record.
Doomsday Machine 2. Oh, that lead player's in Opeth now, and that guy rips, dude.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
Frederick,
he's so underrated.
Such a good guitar player. Like, nobody ever talks about him, dude.
I do.
He's so fucking. I know you do.
But he's it's because he's an Opeth though. He's in the shadow of Michael, which is understandable.
But he still rips. He's good on that Arch Enemy record too. That was like their big one. Their like first big one.
I gotta take a little hiatus. I'll be right back.
All right.
Fuck.
Yeah, we are not doing a good job of keeping on track.
Bands you want to talk about that?
Yeah, that aren't At the Gates. At the Gates is
bands I don't know about.
I mean, they're like At the Gates is such a staple band, and what I was gonna say was that Slaughter of the Soul itself, that album is such a staple, and like they ended on like a high note. You know what I mean? It's like George Costanza, go out on a high note, dude. You know, it's like they took his advice.
A joke, get out.
Yeah, and it's just like they killed it. That record was it was awesome. It changed metal for sure. Like that's one of the records I would say changed the face of death metal, at least for a lot of other, years to come. Because I mean, you have bands like Black Dahlia who literally like. I mean, Trevor has said in interviews that they shaped their career off of bands like Carcass and At the Gates, and like you hear it, and like
you can definitely hear it,
and it's just like
that's what made this also interesting for me to hear. Is there are some bands that I've listened to that are the offshoots of At the Gates, and and I don't know why, but I never listened to them.
Yeah,
I never listened to this album.
I mean, it was.
I don't know. It just went under my radar. I knew of it because everybody that I was ever in a band with, being in metal bands, was like At the Gates. At the Gates. I was like, all right, cool.
They were a huge seminal name. That it's just a very weird. I feel like there's not a lot of that in metal where you have put out a record that's like your best and then you immediately break up.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, I don't think it happens a lot. I mean, at least if it does, I'm drinking too many White Claws to think of it at this point. But like,
I'm sure it's happened, but I can't really think off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Somebody's yelling at us right now. You forgot this band and this band.
But still, it's a crazy good record. I love it so much. And like, it's aged so well. It was so much fun. I listened to the original version of the record, but I loved it. I think my favorite song is still Under a Serpent's Sun. That song rips. I love it. I learned how to play that song when I was younger. I don't know. I probably still could. It's just...
It's easy enough. Yeah.
I remember, though, distinctly when I first heard that record, I was like, wow, this drummer is really only doing the same shit for almost every single song.
That's what
I was floored by it.
Like
I was like, really? I was like, this is strange, man. Like, I don't get it, but... there's variation, obviously. Like Cold has a lot of different shit. Like you said, that's a good example.
I chose it because it stands out in that respect. And I mean, I don't really have a least favorite song. I can't pick one.
That's fair. I'm not gonna pick mine. Like I said, might be like Undo, whatever the fuck that one, because
like
I just
the least
can't think
memorable is I think Need. I think is what it's called.
Yeah, Need is.
But it's the second to last song.
Yeah.
And it's still awesome, but it's more thrashy.
Yeah, definitely.
And I can still remember the riffs. They're just like pounded into my head.
Did you listen to any of the covers that were on Spotify with that album?
No.
What? I didn't see any of them. I guess I.
Well, how did you listen to it?
I listened to it on Spotify, but it's not like when I looked up At the Gates or Slaughter of the Soul, like covers came up.
It's on. At least the one I saw was on. The album.
Isn't there like a Benighted cover of one of their songs?
I don't know.
I think Benighted does a cover of one of the songs.
Oh, they covered. Yeah, it's on the OG
that's
one.
Like super awesome.
They covered Slaughter Lord. They covered Captor of Sin by Slayer.
Oh, you mean At the Gates covering?
Sorry.
I thought you meant other bands covering At the Gates.
Yeah, that's what I thought you meant too.
Sorry, my bad.
No, it's okay.
Man, one of the... Dan Precision used to be... We actually just drove by his house on the way here. He used to be in a band, I think they were called Break the Silence, that did like a drop D cover of, I believe it was The Slaughter of the Soul, like the title track. I don't know if that's anywhere on the internet, but I remember he played it for me when we were at his studio over a decade ago, and I was like, "Oh, this is really crazy that you guys did that."
Did you ever listen to their last record that they did?
Drink from the Night Itself.
Yeah,
I listened to it at least once. I just sort of, again, I'm a nitpicker when it comes to the production, but especially when it's a band like At the Gates, where I feel like you start quantizing shit. I get it; people want it to sound perfect, they want it to sound huge. But it really, especially with like simpler riffs, it really like takes away the feel.
Yeah.
And so I was gonna listen to it, to talk about in relationship to this, but I didn't. I've listened to it since it came out.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I have it. I
like the title track. I feel like the title of the album, when you say it, sounds kind of stupid, and then you hear Lindbergh go, "Drink from the night." You hear say it. It's like, oh, that's actually a cool lyric.
I love his vocals, man.
Yeah, it's cool. I feel like it's not for everybody, but I love it.
I think they've gotten better with age too. I like his vocals now because he sounds like he's old as fuck and dusty, dude.
Well, I could see if Bill, I don't know if that's a factor for you. I could see if you don't like the vocals, you won't like At the Gates. It's like that kind of thing.
No, I don't remember them particularly like sticking out, like being bad when I heard it. I was like, because I've
heard
very
throaty.
Yeah, for sure. I've heard bands that have vocals that sound like that, and it doesn't really take me out of it.
Yeah,
because I like to listen to the whole thing.
They're awesome, man. At the Gates rules.
It's really strange how you can't really hear the bass at all on the album.
That would be expected.
But if you listen to the Full Dynamic Range one, you can like kind of hear it. You can kind of hear it. You're like, oh, that's cool. There's bass on this record.
Hell yeah. Well,
there shouldn't be, but whatever.
Man, I'm trying to think if I have any like final things to say about it. I mean, I highly recommend that if anybody wants to educate themselves on an amazing metal record, listen to it. But also, if you want to listen to the original version, which is mastered very, very hot, or at least it's very compressed, and then listen to the Full Dynamic Range version and try to focus in on like one element of what you're listening to, like just the drums or just the guitars or just the vocals, and like just listen to how the tone is affected. That's all I got.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Definitely.
Seriously, like I don't know. That's sort of like,
I'm putting on my big ass cans and check it out.
Definitely. You'll probably hear stuff that I didn't even hear when I was listening to it on earbuds.
You still haven't seen those, right? I got to show them to you sometime.
I've not listened to them. That's for sure.
They're pretty sick.
They are very sick. But anyway, it was a record done by Frederick Nordstrom, who was like
Nordstrom Rack.
Yeah, Nordstrom. Yeah, owner of Nordstrom Rack. He's just notorious. He's like, he did every fucking band from Sweden back then that was anything like Dark Tranquility.
Where did he do him a Sugar record?
Sweden,
no?
Gothenburg.
Did he do him a Sugar record or no?
I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
But he did a lot of like those melodic death metal bands like He did records for that band Architects now.
Demon Borgir, dude. Didn't he do Demon Borgir records? Because I remember reading in a recording magazine about maybe it was Death Cult or the one after, about how hard it was recording that giant drum set and like dealing with the string arrangements and stuff.
Wow. Yeah.
That sounded insane. I was just like, I could record a band like At the Gates and like do an okay job, but trying to do that Demon Borgir shit, I'd be like,
how many tracks you think?
Just kill me. Just kill me now.
Well, good thing they only put out like a record every 10 years now, that band.
Oh, really? They're not that consistent anymore?
Oh, no, not anymore. Yeah, Demo was just like, I don't know what the fuck is up with that band, to be honest with you. Like, I love them for sure, and some of those records are like huge on me, but
I've never really...
Yeah, they're not really a consistent band that much anymore. I mean, they put out a record in 2018, before that, 2010.
Oh, wow.
Before that, yeah, I mean, they were consistent before then, I guess, honestly, a little bit, but not as much as they used to be. But yeah, Frederick Nordstrom was the producer at that time, and like now his records sound definitely way bigger than they used to back then. It's just kind of crazy listening to like an Architects record. You know that band? Do you know that band?
I'm familiar with them.
Band.
I kind of stay away, but I'm familiar with them. I know they're a huge
It's
band.
just interesting if you listen to like a record he did by them, and then you listen to like Slaughter of the Soul. It sounds so fucking
I mean, you got to evolve.
different.
For those records, that was, they're 20 plus years apart.
Too,
he was also he also plays guitar in a power metal band called Dream Evil. So,
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Are they
Fun
good?
fact. I don't really listen to them, but I don't know actually. Probably maybe for what they do they're good, but I don't even know if they're still a band, but he did play for them for a while. But yeah, I mean, he seems to have his shit together and knows what he's doing because he's made some absolute banger records.
Sounds like the next Roman Ring record. That's where we're going to go to Sweden, guys.
I would love to, man. If we ain't got money and we were like,
oh, cool. Yeah, we checked the budget.
I don't know how much it would cost.
How many shirts do we sell at that show too?
Yeah, we might need do a GoFundMe so we can go to Sweden and record.
Help us have a good time.
Yeah, have a good time.
Yeah. Sweet. Well.
Yeah. Any parting words as far as that?
As far as that album, man, I want to say more about it, but I think I said most of what I needed to say. Yeah. I mean, I mentioned the HM2 tone. I'm still kind of floored by that because it doesn't.
Never would have guessed that was what they were doing with that album. That's funny. Because it doesn't have the buzzsaw.
And I think when I saw them at least on the final tour, they were just playing PVs. It wasn't. I don't think they were running. They could have been running pedals into them.
They sound good at that show.
Yeah.
Have you seen them since then?
I don't think so. Because I know they were on a Decibel tour with Converge that I really wanted to go to that I missed.
I went with Hasib took me to that tour. He had a free ticket.
And they don't. I figured they would be like touring more when they put out the new record, but I don't think they have a whole lot.
I don't think they've been to the United States once. They opened for Behemoth. It was Behemoth at the Gates, some other band, and like Wolves in the Throne Room, which is a cool tour.
Damn, that sounds cool. I'm sorry I missed it.
But I remember I saw At the Gates at that Decibel show at House of Blues.
I'm bummed partially because I didn't
have friends that were at that show.
I didn't get to see them
walked
there.
out because they didn't like Behemoth.
No, this Behemoth wasn't at that show.
Okay.
This was At the Gates headline Converge, Pallbearer, and Vollenfire, who was they're not a band anymore, but they were the death metal project of the guitar player from Paradise Lost.
Gotcha.
Nick something. Yeah.
Anytime I could see Converge as an opener, I should go. And I didn't go to that.
Yeah.
As opposed to a headliner.
That's the only time I've seen Converge, but it was cool. It was weird that they played back to back with At the Gates. But
it probably was cool because when they headline, the singer just talks too much.
The singer did talk a lot.
Opinion.
He did talk too much.
Jacob Bannon.
Yeah, he likes to
I almost called him Jacob Shannon.
He likes to do the whole hardcore Jacob Shannon Lucas.
Jacob Shannon,
the whole hardcore thing, where you talk about your feelings and
fair enough.
It can be a bit much, that's all.
I like it. I liked it when I saw him. And I liked I've only seen them that one time though. But it was cool, man. Then At the Gates crushed it. They played like all of Slaughter of the Soul and like almost all that other record.
Damn, I missed it. Fuck.
Yeah, it was nuts.
So what is that band doing now?
At the Gates? Well, they still record music. They did To Drink from the Night Itself, which came out in 2018, I think.
Is it what members though?
Same singer, same drummer. Like one of their guitar players is not in the band anymore. But
well, you mentioned like a couple of dudes went on to the Haunted. Where did the other guys end up going?
They did the Haunted during that. The other guys, let me take a look. I'll tell you.
I wasn't prepared with the whole history of the band.
God damn you guys.
I should know better than I mean, if
I
this
just
was
wanted
like 5
to
years
talk
ago,
about the different mastered versions of the album because it's so crazy to me.
But they've had a couple dudes in and out. So Jonas Bjorler, OG bass player, he's in the Haunted still.
Okay.
And he was doing that band with his brother Anders Bjorler, who's not in At the Gates anymore.
Okay.
But they both still. I don't think Anders does the Haunted either anymore. But Adrian Erlandson was also in the Haunted and a shitload of other bands. He was in Cradle of Filth for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, he played on some big Cradle of Filth records after At the Gates, which was kind of crazy because I remember thinking like, this is not cool. He was in Paradise Lost for a while. What are you doing, man?
Looking at my coffee.
Looking at his coffee. You're going to get diabetes, man.
Why don't you leave him alone?
I like Steven Dorff in, what was that, the second season of True Detective. When it comes to my coffee, I like it like a dessert.
That's fair.
Yeah, well, I guess I drink coffee every day, sometimes multiple times, and if I was drinking that much stuff you have in there, I would actually die probably.
Well,
it's not that bad. It's not like an extra.
Anyway, back to the subject, Nate.
I didn't even interrupt you. I just looked at it. That's all I did. People listening would have had no idea.
Thomas Lindbergh, he's been in a bunch of other bands, and he's still in, like, I don't know if he still does Lockup, but he was doing that for a while. They're a grind band. He was in Night Rage for a little bit, which was another melodic death metal band who fucking rules. The Crown, he was in that band for a while.
Oh, I remember The Crown.
Yeah, he was on that one Crown record, and that record was sick. I think it's Crowned in Fear. That album's awesome. But
that's probably why I listened to them when I was a teenager.
Yeah, and Martin Larson, Agrimonia. Yeah, Agrimonia was a band that one of their guitar players was in. I don't know them too well, but I know a lot of people who know them very well. And then the guy that they have now, Jonas Stahlhammer, he was in another band called The Lurking Fear, or he's in a band called The Lurking Fear with Thomas Lindbergh, and that's how he ended up in At the Gates. He's like, hey, this guy's quitting, just join my other band. But yeah, I mean, they don't have a very big list of dudes that haven't been in the band. Mm-hmm. There's only like a handful of people, and a lot of them left during like their demos and shit, you know?
Oh, okay.
When they were first starting. So most of the dudes in the band were on all the records.
Does it say on there whether or not they play baritone guitars now or not?
No.
Okay.
It doesn't. Do you think they do?
I don't know. It sounds to me like the new records are not your standard, 6-string guitar just tuned the fuck down. Like it kind of sounds like more stable.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's probably harder to find.
Yeah, I don't know either, man. Do you have a copy of At War with Reality?
I do.
I have one too.
Yeah.
Good. Good talk. All right. So.
Wait, that's the segue?
And that's it.
Yeah.
I don't have a copy of Slaughter of the Soul. Never owned a physical copy.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I don't know. It was at the time when I got into it. It was I think it was relatively hard to find on CD. I'm sure
For
now
shame.
it's not that hard.
Yeah, buy it on the internet.
Yeah, if I can find the new master, I will.
You should.
I mean, I'm sure I know that it's on there because when I discovered it, I was like, oh, I didn't know this existed.
Yeah.
It might be hard to find though. It might be sold out.
Go on Amazon. I'll look for you right now.
I don't want to get the coronavirus, man.
Why? Why would you get the coronavirus?
From Amazon. That was a bad joke. Maybe by next week, whenever this airs, it won't even be an issue anymore.
Or it has gotten worse.
That's more likely, honestly.
That'd be fine. Just wash your hands, everybody. Hurry up. Let's move on to the next one.
I'm looking to see how much.
A copy of this?
Yeah, it's $15.50. I don't know if it's the full dynamic range though. I don't know if they have a CD of the full dynamic. Oh, they do for $13.98. How about that?
There you go.
Yeah,
look at that.
We'll just press order. I'll pay you back.
No. But
Hit that one-click pay.
All right.
Send it to Nate.
So, we are blind to the worlds within us, waiting to be born. Oh no, wrong song. Yeah, Blind by Fear fucking rules. Yeah, I remember at one point just listening to every song on the record, and I was like, "Oh, this is so good!" And then the next one was even better, and I'd be like, "Oh my god!"
That's the best, man. Not a lot of bands can make an album like that.
Yeah,
and it's I don't mean to like shit on their new stuff because their new stuff's
you
cool.
guys.
And Warforged Reality is a little bit. It's a little bit almost like they ripped themselves off though, and then it's extended. It's like 14 or 16 songs, right? It's long.
Yeah, it is very long. Yeah.
You're like, whoa,
With the bonus tracks, it's like 16 songs or something. Yeah. All right. Well, now we're transitioning to the heaviest record of the three.
Brutally
by
heavy.
Decrepit Birth, called Axis Mundi, which is their newest record, which came out in 2018. And the reason I picked it is because I feel like it was glossed over a lot, and rightfully so in a certain way, because Decrepit Birth didn't put out a record since 2010 in between then, which was Polarity. But here we have Axis Mundi. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but
Axis
I think
Monday.
I am. Yeah. It's sick.
What if it's Mundi?
I've heard them say Mundi. I've heard people say Monday. I've heard some people say Friday.
Do you know what it means?
Yeah, it's like the epicenter of the world or something like that.
Did you
I don't
notice?
know. It's some Bill.
Did you notice
Robinson
the
shit, dude.
similarity in their cover art to the Roman Ring cover art?
Yeah, you know why?
Why?
Is it the
Because
same person?
I fucking referenced the shit out of that for our cover art.
Oh God! Don't say that on here.
Yeah.
I was
Too
hoping
late.
that wasn't the case.
Yeah,
but
that was the case. You could go back and look at the original emails.
No, I
I
kinda
gave him
wanna
a
look
bunch
at
of
that.
records, but that was one of them. Yeah, man. I fucking love. Okay, so I'm going to start this off by saying Decrepit Birth was a really big band for me at the time, like when I was in high school. Diminishing. Yeah.
You're looking at it.
Diminishing in between. Well, it's just clearly like I'm a huge Decrepit Birth fan, and I love the Axis Mundi cover artwork. So I'm a huge fan of this record. I'm a huge fan of that artwork. Like, I'm a huge fan of this band. I don't even know where to start with this because, like, when I discovered them, they were doing a lot more of the melodic stuff. Like Diminishing Between Worlds was out, which was their second record. I was really into that, and I loved Polarity. But this was just a record that, like, as I grew to like, because Decrepit Birth had a lot of time off. They had 8 years where they were touring, but they weren't like making new music. They weren't putting it out. Like, you know, it took a while. Like 8 years is a lot for a band, you know, to put out a fucking
Yeah, you
record.
think they broke up? You don't really know.
Yeah. And
Or Bill is just off the
they were
grid.
still touring though. They still did like summer slaughters and shit. Like they were touring a lot. Like I'd seen them many times in between like then and now. Now they don't tour that much anymore. But the reason I think I like this record so much is because it's not exactly what I expected, because it's definitely more of a return to form. Like Decrepit Birth honestly was like, if you listen to Anti Begins, their very first record, it's like a Disgorge ripoff. And I say that in the best way possible because Disgorge is sick. And they were one of those first bands on Unique Leader who were just like, yo, let's take that like steez of fucking Disgorge and make it our own. And they really did. But this record definitely returns more to a heavier form of the band. A lot less. I mean, there are some melodic songs and some melodic parts, but not a lot. It's a lot more heavy and like, in my opinion, a lot more like back to like the Disgorge type shit.
Yeah, I found myself laughing a lot listening to this because it was like, it's so heavy.
Yeah, it's sick, dude.
Like comically heavy.
Yeah.
For me, at least. Yeah.
There's some good. I picked the song. I want to say it's called, I can't remember if it's Hieroglyph or Hieroglyphic or Hieroglyphics. I can never fucking remember it.
I think it's hieroglyphics.
Whatever track 2 was my
Hieroglyphic.
favorite.
Oh, it's just one.
Track 2 is Spirit Guide.
Yeah, that ruled.
Yeah, that's like the most melodic song on the record, I think.
That's
Spirit
probably
Guide.
what I
Yeah. It's awesome though.
It's
It
got
is
a
sick
good
record.
like. There's a good rhythmic riff in there where it's like a little stop and go part. That's
Yeah.
like, I remember like stopping like and like listening to it, be like, oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah.
It stopped me in my tracks for
I
sure.
love this record, man. Like it came out in 2018 when I wasn't like listening to a shitload of death metal, but like I just remember being like, fuck, this is like exactly what I want. Like I want this record. And like I'm so glad they came back and at least did something, and like it sounds really good. I think it sounds really good.
So what was the previous album like then?
Polarity, which was like another, like it was way more melodic.
Not
like,
as heavy as this one?
Yeah, definitely not
I
as
need to go
heavy.
back and listen to Polarity because I loved that album when it came out.
Polarity's great too. Yeah.
And I think that part of the reason why I didn't like this one as much is it lacks some of the stuff that's on Polarity.
Yeah. It's way different.
And just in terms of like the guitar playing. I mean, this band, I don't know that much about them, but I feel like this album, Axis Mundi, at least, it just sounds to me like it was written almost exclusively just by Matt Sotelo, the guitar player.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I feel like it lacks the feel of an actual band record. Like the drums are amazing, but I don't think any of the ideas are that interesting. They're just like playing along to the guitar riffs.
The drums?
Yeah. And I mean, is it a Samus? Seamus?
Yeah,
It's
Samus
him.
did this
Yeah, he's
record.
an amazing player, and you know they're well performed and they sound huge, and like I don't know. I kind of got. I guess I'm just the negative voice when it comes to this record because I don't think it's as good as Polarity. But also that some of the riffs are just like, I don't want to say they're recycled, but there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah, I agree.
There's this overall thing that he does a lot where it goes dun. It's like this half step down thing, and I think it's in so many riffs on the record. Like it made it hard for me to really like decipher songs some of the time. But that's just me. I really like the beginning. I like how the first song has like an intro. You know, like
Vortex of
almost
Infinity.
yeah, almost like an old school like intro.
Yeah, it's cool.
Just an instrumental like heavy thing to be like, what's up? We're this band, like
Dude, and they play that, and I saw them. So
they were great last time I saw them.
yeah, was that?
It was Reggie's. I
Yeah,
think it
but that was
maybe-
before that record came out.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
The one
they
you
were
guys
playing
played?
new songs off of it. Yeah, but it was still before it came out.
I've
They're
seen
playing
this
3
band
new
a few
songs.
times, and never because I wanted to see them.
I saw them
It was
last
fun.
when
I
the
liked
album
it.
came out. They played with Black Dahlia. Black Dahlia was headlining off Nightbringers, their newest record.
Okay.
And it was them, Suffocation, Decrepit Birth, and some other bands. But I remember Decrepit Birth had that dude Matt Palazzo, who was playing with the Zenith Passage at that show. He was filling in for Decrepit Birth on that tour, and it was just like, holy shit, this is so fucking sick. That drummer is so clean, and like they sounded, it was at the Forge. That was probably the last time I was at the Forge too, but I just remember Decrepit Birth, they sounded so huge, and they opened with Vortex of Infinity, and it was just this pissed off, like heavy ass intro, and it was just like, not a breakdown, it was just heavy ass riffs, dude. I just remember thinking like, this is insane. Like I just remember being like, why doesn't every band sound like this? You know what I mean? Like it's so fucking... I get what you're saying, though. There is definitely a lot of redundancy on the record.
It just doesn't sound like a band to me so much. And also the vocals are just like, I don't know. I think that the Bill is his name. He's definitely an interesting character in the world of death metal.
Saying the least, yeah.
But I don't really like his style that much. And I feel like it's just... It's almost unnecessary. I'm just like this. You could get somebody to be better than this, or
Nate.
Really?
Yeah, man.
I
It's
think
like-
he does the part
Nate.
right. Like it's just that
Yeah.
it just adds that gratuitousness to the heavy aspect of it, which I
will-
like him for that. Yes,
Yeah.
I think
I will agree. He's not the best.
Bill's
vocalist in
range
the
isn't
world.
amazing in
no.
any way, shape, or form, but what
like-
they use him for
it's
is
not even
great.
about range. It's
Yeah.
like you do one thing, you should do it better than he does it.
Yeah, but he's so iconic with that band, man. It's just so, I don't know. I love the fact that I could barely enunciate.
Live,
anything he's
it's
saying.
cool. I'm just saying, like, yeah, hearing it on the record, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done if I was. Who produced this record? It's the Castle Ultimate. Is it Zach Oren?
Not, yeah.
He's done a lot of.
So would you tell him to redo a lot of those takes?
No, not necessarily. I mean, he probably did the best that he could in the time that they had. I mean, I've studied his work a little bit. I mean, he's recorded a lot of bands for Unique Leader, and his records always sound good, but they also kind of have like, I mean, not this. I wouldn't say this fits into this, but a lot of his other records.
No, he didn't do this record.
Oh, really?
It was Ryan Forsyth.
Oh,
he recorded the drums. Hold on. You know what? Hold on. I'm pretty sure Matt Sotelo recorded like the guitars and vocals himself.
That makes sense. That kind of goes along with what I was saying.
But the reamping and the mixing and mastering was the dude Stefano Morabito, and he works for 16th Cellar Studio, which is a big ass studio in Italy, and they do a lot of bands. Like they did the Old Hour of Penance records. He's done like a shit ton of like death metal, like really heavy type shit.
Well, it does sound pretty good, but like I said, just as far as the vocal energy, really more than anything, it's like I can nitpick and be like, I want to hear the words more, but
yeah,
it's really just like, it just sounds like it's layered on top of like not in a good way.
I think
basically I sound like I hate this record, which I really don't. I enjoyed listening to it. I know when it first, pretty much from when it came out, you were like, Nate, you have to listen to this record like constantly.
Yeah, because it's so sick.
And I did, and kind of was just like, okay, this is cool, this is brutal. But I don't think I ever sat there and really analyzed it or like listened to it as much as I did. And I did enjoy it.
Good.
As much as I said all that negative shit about it.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's fair. Yeah.
More lead. I would have liked more lead playing.
Yeah, there's not a lot of leads,
which I get.
And some of the leads on this record, I think, are just kind of like,
I've done it. Being the only guitar player in a band, it's hard. It's hard to get excited about playing solos because you have to play them live. You don't have a rhythm player, and I totally get that. At some point, we're gonna have to talk about the covers.
Ugh, yeah, we'll talk about that at the end.
I mean, we don't have to talk about it now, but I can't. I mean,
I have more to say.
Okay, we can wait for that one.
With this record, it came kind of like Decrepit Birth for me, just in general as a band, was one of the first bands, especially with Diminishing Between Worlds and Polarity. Which, by the way, all their music is like 100% written by Matt Sotelo, the guitar player. I'm pretty sure he does everything. He's always done everything.
Sounds like it.
And Decrepit Birth was that first band for me that was like playing heavy music, but like interesting in a progressive way, where like I started to realize all their lyrics like were just about insane concepts, not like killing people, but shit like, like drug trips and it's just like this whole new world of metal for me, where I was like, whoa, you could really write songs about this shit, and like, all this weird mythical type stuff. Like, I mean, obviously it's kind of, they're well known for that at this point. I think within the death metal community, at least they're known for being that type of band. But I don't know, man, in 2020, especially, like the type of death metal that's taking off is so different from the shit that these guys are doing. And like, I wish it was the other way around. I wish more bands were picking up on like the Disgorges, the Deeds of Fleshes, the Decrepit Births, like, these bands that all D bands, but bands that like bands that were really like doing something different from like old school sounding shit. And now everybody's just like HM2.
Ooh,
like
now we're getting a greater issue in the death metal world.
But it's just like I listen to a record like this, and like when you have a world of abundance full of bands like Nails and whatever.
Yeah.
And
the throwback. Like,
the old school revival shit, which is, it's cool in its own way. And I'm not trying to knock it by saying this, even though I don't really like stuff like that. I don't have a problem with it. But like, bands like Disentomb who are like carrying that, that's like the shit I get excited about now with death metal, and then Decrepit Birth drops this hitter of a fucking record. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is everything I've wanted. Like, and now I'm getting it served to me on a fucking silver platter. Like, I remember when the first single dropped, which was, Epigenetic Triplicity. Like what? Okay. Let's take that title for example. I don't know what both of those words mean.
Sounds like you had a fucking seizure saying that.
I don't even know if I'm saying it right, dude. Like,
it sounded right. It's
Triplicity sounds like something to do with the number 3.
Yeah. Epigenetic Triplicity. And it's like, go figure what the fuck that means. But it's like, oh, here comes Decrepit Birth back with some shit I don't know, and it's super fucking heavy. Like that song in itself too, how it ends with that slam where it's like
You're singing that interval I was talking about.
Yeah, it's a sick interval, dude. We're gonna have to use it.
We use it all the time.
I know,
but
good.
It's hopefully not as much.
I don't think it's as much.
Let's take a verse lyrical
page out of
page out of this. Metallic Speculum, the seventh Specere, Specere. I don't know what that is. Mirror of preconception, heightened
all...
expanse of observation. I emerge from within the violet crown. I love shit like that, dude. I don't even know what it means.
It's all this guy.
Well, why do you love that you don't know what it? Yeah, like why do you love that you don't know what it means?
Because it literally just sounds like a white dude with dreadlocks emerging from like a lotus flower and being like this mythical being. That's what it sounds like to me,
leaving
man.
His little
it sounds like what the album cover looks like. It sounds like a bunch of dudes trapped in crystals in space with like a bunch of other shit that I don't know what exactly, like a DNA strand looking thing. Yeah. This album artwork itself too, by the way, is like my favorite Decrepit Birth cover and one of my favorite Dan Seagrave covers.
That's fair.
I love the color palette. I think it's killer. And like they've always had sick album covers, but this one takes the cake for me. I think
the color palette is very cool. I didn't know Dan Seagrave did it.
Yeah, he does all the
records. It doesn't look like a magic card, so I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
That's not Dan Seagrave doesn't do magic cards, man. That's Raymond Swanland. Get your death metal facts right, dude.
You know, I don't. You know, like how Bill doesn't listen to music. I don't look at artwork.
That's fair, dude. This honestly, that's antiquated shit for me to say too. Because if I didn't remember that now, I would have been calling my own ass out and be like, "Dude, you're listening to too much Brockhampton to know what any of this shit is anymore."
It's good that you're still not.
That is true.
You know what? It was a lot of fun going back to this record though, because I haven't listened to it a lot since it came out, really, or like I listened to it a bit last year, but I still love it. I still think it's awesome. Like the covers. I kind of hate them, except the Suffocation cover I think is sick.
I was confused by them, particularly the Orion cover, because I think it actually sounds really good, except for the bass tone, and that's kind of like a bass song.
You know what's funny?
I was just sort of like,
did you know that Samus played bass on that song? It's credited in the booklet. Samus, like their bass player didn't do that cover for some reason, but Samus played the bass on it. That's why it sounds different and probably worse.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, the bass on the record is kind of the way it sits in the mix is a little strange.
What about that hieroglyph?
You can hear it.
Dude, that part makes me want to hit somebody over the head with the bat.
You can pretty much hear it when the dude is like shredding and playing stuff up high, but other than that, you can't. But yeah, the bass tone is just. I mean, maybe I'm a Metallica freak or something. It just doesn't sound anything like Cliff. It doesn't sound, and they play it like Metallica. Like it's not.
Yeah, which is
they don't do their own spin on it. Really, it's just sort of like, here's a cover of Orion. You know.
Yeah,
you could just go listen exactly to the original version.
All the covers on this sound like. This like the Suffocation cover sounds like just a nicer produced Suffocation song, like. But it's funny because Decrepit Birth, this record's only like 9 songs or something like that. If you look at it, like the track listing wise. But I would say that.
Is there a reason behind the covers? Did they ever?
Yeah, well, they started doing covers on Polarity. They did a cover of a Death song. They did See Through Dreams. And then they would do Crystal Mountain Live. They would play that cover like every time.
See, that's awesome because I mean, Death is not a band anymore. Like Chuck Schuldner's dead. Metallica's still a band. They're still out there playing. Cliff's obviously dead.
Band,
yeah. I guess I just wish the bass was better in that song because I think of that as like a Cliff song, even though I guess it was honestly I think it might have been written by Mustaine or something. Maybe I'm thinking of a different Metallica song.
There's like yelling at you right now.
Eddie Goebel's fact checking your ass right now, dude.
Hopefully, but it's
if
still
he's listening to this.
You know, I still think of it as a Cliff song because of the bass lead.
Right. Yeah,
you know, and I was just sort of like, oh well. The guitars and drums sound pretty good. You know, it sounds like the rest of the record. They didn't. Maybe I would have liked it more if, the production as a whole, they went more towards like, okay, we're gonna make this sound like Metallica, but they didn't do that.
Yeah.
With it sounded like the rest of the album. It's consistent, but they also played it pretty much like Metallica.
It's like the Metallica with the Decrepit Birth like cover over. You know, like.
Well, that's why it's a cover.
I mean, like but I'm saying like. With that palette, if you will.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's just it seems like out of left field. I like the song. I like the song Orion. I listened to it a bunch of times.
I wonder how the royalties on that work.
I don't know. But it's
like
just,
Metallica
you know what?
has to get.
They have to give him a cut.
Right? And then Matt Sotelo does the vocals on that Sepultura cover and they don't sound that good.
Oh, I was wondering about that. I was like,
Bill.
I was like, is that Bill? Did he just like do a different technique and I can understand what he's saying?
That's the guitar player. He did the vocals on that song.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a big Sepultura guy anyway.
All right, get the fuck out.
If Eddie Gobo is listening to it, he knows that.
Gabe's yelling at you right now. Gabe's a now.
Oh, Gabe like Sepultura?
He does. Well, we've been like going back and forth watching videos of Eloy Casagrande. Right?
Yeah. This is
That
old
dude's a
Sepultura
sick-
that they're covering,
yeah,
though. They're like a
yeah.
completely different band now.
Yeah, and it's
Oh,
like,
for sure. Yeah.
I mean, no offense to
that drummer
to
is
what is
sick.
his name? No offense to him, but like Sepultura is not about like, oh, they have the sickest drummer. Let's fucking. I mean, I don't know. I
They
look
are
at,
now, which
I
is
mean,
like crazy.
well, I look at it more, like the Cavalera thing.
the old, yeah, for sure.
like
yeah,
Igor,
yeah.
but like I think it's sort of. I don't
Well,
know.
the song they covered is Desperate Cry, so it is Igor
What
and
album
Max
is
era.
that from?
I want to say
Is
it's
it Chaos?
Beneath the Remains, but I could be wrong.
I don't know. My view of Sepultura is a little bit tainted by my own experience with
Did Max
the
touch you?
the Cavalera experience or whatever the hell
Cavalera
they were
conspiracy.
going. No, it wasn't them.
Arise,
Was
it's
it
on
them?
Arise,
I don't
which
know.
is like
I
the
don't
big
know.
thrash record.
Okay.
It's a good
Interesting.
album.
That's the first one with the new singer, right?
No, Arise? No, that's
Or is
like
that the
old
one of
Max
the old
Cavalera
ones?
shit.
What's
That's like their
that?
third record.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Arise is sick.
It's interesting though that
It's got the
Sepultura
cover
is
of
a band
Orgasmatron.
that
which
you
is
could
good.
talk extensively about on your new metal podcast, and we could also be talking about because Decrepit Birth covered one of their songs.
Yeah, right?
That's funny.
It's pretty crazy.
There'll be some overlap.
But
Gobo, listen to just that song, and we'll talk about it.
I will say I think my favorite song is Hieroglyphic because I think I first heard them play that on Summer Slaughter 2015 because it was like the one new song they were playing, and I was like, whoa, this like indicator because they weren't doing any like maybe one and Time Begins song, so everything was really melodic. Like Polarity, which is another record I would love to talk about on an episode like this because I think that is also I think all the records are great, but I remember they were playing all these melodic songs, and then they played this new song, and it's like heavy, and I'm like, whoa, like this is way different. And then, yeah, it's just kind of like I feel like it's a good encompassment of what the sound is on that record. Like it's heavier. They're going back to more of the Disgorge worship type shit, and it's like also has some weird experimental shit going on, you know. But I love that song. I think the song I almost picked.
That
Spirit Guide, the second song, because it's so melodic and cool and crazy.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's the only song that sounds like that on the record. Like it clearly stands out. And like part of me almost like wants to make a claim. I mean, it's not a real claim because I don't know this for sure. But I want to know if that's like a song they wrote right after Polarity because it really sounds like a progression of that record to me. You know, and like they could have maybe done a whole record
could have been a
like
B-side
that.
or something.
Yeah.
That, didn't make the cut yet.
Or even just like they were like, oh, we're going to do this. And then like 7 years down that line, they're like, oh, we're going to do something actually way different, you know, but they kept that song.
They had a file
But I love that song.
backed up,
It's
yeah.
crazy because they have that weird spoken word part in it where he's like, of grand design, like old man shit.
I was wondering, not in that song, but in Hieroglyphic, it's that song, right, with like the harpsichord.
No,
It's
that's
like
Spirit. That's Spirit.
Okay.
Spirit Guide has the harpsichord part. Yeah.
I was just like,
also
oh,
whack.
that's
Yeah.
interesting.
It is pretty goofy.
They went
Oh
for
yeah,
But it's sick.
any like synth moments on the album, I'm just like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
That's the string section. Is it an embryogenesis?
yeah, the last song.
I'm just
Or
like,
last
dude, like
original song.
I don't program MIDI strings. I've never done it in my life. But if
missing
I was
out.
gonna do it, I wouldn't have every note be the same velocity. And that's like what it just.
Right. Yeah. The
Yeah, what do you want me to
dynamic is
do?
off.
Just play guitar and shut up.
Yeah, that song is definitely a weird one, but it's kind of cool they close
producer
on an
note.
instrumental. Like I always like that, but
Got to give Bill a rest with that voice.
Yeah, we did that on our album on the new Roman Reign.
Yeah, very true.
I like that's honestly like I really wish we were gonna get a bunch of like reviews and press just to hear what people
much people
say
talk
about
shit
the,
about it.
just people say about the outro track to be
Dude,
like
speaking of Roman Reign and Decrepit Birth, I remember this is one of those bands that Tom told me that I like kind of ripped off. And I was like, I don't know who they are.
yeah,
He's like,
I was
you have
actually
a riff that
gonna
sounds like
say
a Decrepit Birth
there's,
riff.
Well, there's like a
was like, oh.
specific thing.
I was like, all right,
There's a
thanks.
specific thing I want. I don't know if it's was he talking about something off Babel?
Yeah, the
Yep,
that's the riff. He was like, dude, you ripped off Decrepit Birth. And I was like, I don't know who
That's
that
a
is.
Bill.
but
That's
all
a
right.
Bill riff for sure.
Yeah.
It's on. It's in the song "Climbing Babel's Tower."
that
I know
is very
exactly.
Decrepit Birth.
But you know what? Like, yeah, it is. I figured you were gonna be like
Hearing
okay.
it now, hearing this band now,
But
I'm
all
like,
it
oh,
is
okay.
like you have a note and then you have the fifth, which is like a power chord shape, and then you go up a fifth again.
Yeah.
which makes it
And
like
then
a
it's also
suspended.
the
but you just
harmony to it.
arpeggiate it, and then you also I guess maybe I don't know
harmony makes
what's the
it.
way that it's harmonized. It might be like a fourth harmony or something.
Fourth, I think,
it's very
yeah.
parallel. I
Yeah.
think that's what gives it the Decrepit Birth.
It's
feel.
sick. That riff is sick. Yeah, Decrepit Birth is
Tom's
sick.
like that riff. He's like, yeah, it sounds like
Yeah,
Decrepit
but
Birth.
It is a cool riff.
I
I
said
wonder
that too.
I wonder what I don't know what riff it sounds. It's something on
I
Polarity.
mostly
though.
ripped off Origin on that song though. That was my
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't put sweeps in our song since then, right?
Because the recording process sucks.
Yeah, let's quad track a sweep arpeggio. Never again.
It's either we do that or just take a hammer to our nuts. I'll take a hammer to the nuts instead of doing that again. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I just love this record. It's cool because it's a resurgence of why I really got excited about death metal, at least at a younger age, with bands like Augury and Decrepit Birth and like The Faceless, even, you know, shit like that. It just kind of reminded me a lot of that era, and I'm like, man, I missed shit like that, you know?
We have to do a Faceless record on this podcast.
I'm surprised neither of you guys have not picked Planetary Duality
It's in my
yet.
back pocket.
No.
I know.
I
knew it's your back pocket record.
It's always
I'm waiting for you to be like, yeah, Planetary Duality.
Well, I think I might need to
did
pick
you
a
do
more
one?
brutal death metal album because I did Obscura and then I did At the Gates.
Yeah, man, you're trying to get Meshuggah on this show? Not gonna happen.
No, I'm not gonna. I mean, I was
We're
just
not a death metal
I was
band.
just
And
posing.
that's an easy gimme.
I was posing.
Maybe
the
later down the line,
earlier,
but we're really running out of ideas.
if that was
I don't think we
okay.
ever would.
I was asking if it was okay.
I
Yeah.
would say it'd be all right.
Off air. I was like, would that count? Probably not. Maybe.
You tell
Because
us,
people used to consider Meshuggah a death metal band.
Yeah, because I know you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
Meshuggah very well, and I know that you could talk about him forever, which is good for a podcast, but I want to expand your mind, dude.
No, honestly, there's a lot of other stuff I could do. Like I
I
said,
know.
I want to pick something that's more brutal than I have for
Can
next
you
time.
pick another album that has the loudest
Cough,
fucking ride
cough,
single
echoes
ever
of
like that?
decimation, cough, cough.
I thought about that for this week.
What is
or
that?
For this month.
Origin. That's like Nate's Origin record.
I was really
That's the one he has
considering
the
it.
shirt of?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
I had
He
to
used to have
retire
the
that
shirt
shirt.
Aftermath is like the one album.
Do you
I
have a
really
current
like.
Origin t-shirt? You have a
No,
hoodie?
no, I have a hoodie. I don't.
Well,
I
it
don't.
looks like this Saturday. Y'all
Dude,
pick yourself
yeah.
up one.
I guess by the time this airs, we'll have already gone to
been
the show.
yeah.
But yeah, I'll probably have spent. I'm gonna bring a bunch of cash and at least buy a bunch of Beneath the Massacre stuff and probably
me
buy
too.
some Origin stuff.
You got to bring a
too.
field recorder with you and like talk to those guys, and then maybe we can dump it on
Although
the
I don't think they're
episode.
going to have the new record because the production had got delayed in America.
What really?
Yeah, from Fearmonger. Beneath the Massacre, their new record.
Well, I mean, I don't even care. I'll just buy like a hoodie or t-shirt or
Yeah, I'm definitely going to buy a shitload
maybe
of
I'll
Beneath
buy
the Massacre
Mechanics of
merch.
Dysfunction if they have it.
Hell yeah. No. Buy the new one if they have it.
They don't. You just said they wouldn't have it.
I don't know. Well, if they do, buy it. I'm going to buy it if they do. That was hard. You said you almost were going to pick Fearmonger.
Well, I wanted to change last minute because I finally listened to it and I was
It's not as cool.
very into it and I figured, instead of being like, hey, this is this album from 95 that if you're a death metal head, you've probably heard a million times, like that's a newer thing.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll try to
enjoy
pick something
the-
newer for next time. I don't know.
I don't know. I
pick that
enjoy
one.
the older albums though. It's fun to listen to.
Me too.
Kinda-
Yeah, it
kinda
was cool
brings it
listening at the
back,
gates
yeah.
again. Because I probably would never have listened to Slaughter of the Soul for the next 10 years. If
Yeah, like I said, I mean,
Never would have listened to the
I
album ever.
Yeah.
Like,
I
had
sort of
not been for
stumbled
this.
upon the other master and I was floored that I didn't know it existed, even though it's been out since like 2014 or something
Really?
like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's
I
the
was
story
like-
behind that? They just
I don't know.
Shits and giggles,
I
or-
wasn't.
Yeah,
I didn't
probably,
do a
yeah.
lot of internet research. I just was like,
yeah, I can tell.
ooh,
Oh,
all right. Sorry, I didn't bring my notebook.
yeah, I don't know what's up with that, but I don't know. Sometimes legacy bands or legacy records, they'll do some shit like that. Go back,
Why
trying to
not?
make an extra buck. Earache Records, cough, cough.
Got
Trying
to
to
pay
make
for
an
the
extra
next
buck.
album. Yeah.
They're not even on it. They're on Century Media now, I think.
Dude, you guys didn't ask Andy if they were going to do like I don't know what year Deaths came out, but like the Oceano record. If
Oh,
they're
I
gonna
found
do
my
like
Depths DVD that came with the CD.
Oh, yeah.
Has it already been
Yeah.
10 years? It's already been 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
They could do like a 15-year or like a 20-year like
Did they?
remaster or something
Yeah.
like that.
Did
I
they
don't think they're
do?
gonna do it.
Well, I mean, but Oceano's not on their label anymore. So in
No.
true Earache fashion, they would do something
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
Oh, I see
right?
what you're saying. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
because they're on a different label. They're on Sumerian now, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Oh
don't know
man,
why
I've
Earache
told
isn't
I've
kept-
told
There's-
Jason about this, and just a little tangent. I wish that I would have been there or been able to like call into the Andy episode.
Oh.
Just to because the small town murder thing I feel like got glossed over like almost completely. And I don't know
little
about
bit.
him, but I have a lot of like fond memories of playing with Oceano all over the Midwest area and like headlining shows when they really should have been headlining. Like that was
Right,
kind of
yeah,
like a
yeah.
funny thing that happened. And you guys sort of touched a little bit on the label situation
Yeah, I didn't want to.
with us and Media Scare. and
Yeah, I
how,
didn't
like,
want to like misspeak on your behalf.
well, I understand.
Right? So,
I figured he would have at least said something about it, but I guess he probably didn't even really know. Or
Yeah.
care.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much about that.
It
he
just would have
knows.
been. It would have been cool to reminisce at least about like the good times
old days?
before
Yeah.
before either of our bands were signed and just kind of like playing shows at random towns in Michigan and Wisconsin and You know, it was like they were always way bigger than us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
It was funny. Like there were a couple of times where like we had to play after them, and I'd just be like, well, this isn't gonna go well.
I remember when they like got signed. It was before they announced it because we did a show with them at Sound Lab in was that Mokina, right?
Yeah.
Remember that place?
Good old Sound Lab. I
And,
don't miss it at all.
And neither do I. But
That's where I met that dude from. That's where that Rose Funeral show was at. Was at Sound Lab
yeah.
in Mokina that I was mentioning earlier.
but
Sorry.
no, it's all right. At this point, we had already done like a handful of shows together, so we all knew each other.
You and Oceano?
Yeah. And we were
When you
talking.
say you, are you talking about Capsize?
Capsize,
That's what I
yeah.
thought.
And they like just told us, they're like, yeah, we just got signed. We're like, what the fuck? We're like, that's awesome. Like, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
we were-
But they
we were
weren't
kinda
gonna
like-
announce it right away. Like it was like another week or two before they would.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember when we were playing the show, we played, I think after them as well. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
Yeah, dude.
Jesus
people,
Christ.
People loved that band. And
Yeah.
it was funny.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
like, I think we had sort of announced our signing to Media Scare way too soon, but we did. We like announced it publicly. And then
remember.
very shortly after, like we hadn't even signed the contract yet. Like I'll say that about it for sure. I'll say anything about it. Actually, I don't give a fuck. Fuck Media Scare. But we hadn't
think
signed a
you're
They're not a
contract.
record label anymore.
But we,
Correct.
but we
Talk
had we had announced stupidly that we were going to sign or that we had signed even when we had. And then I don't know if
remember.
I honestly would love to ask somebody in that band. I don't know if that affected their shit at all, but they were approached by Earache and they had actually, I remember talking to them at some show probably in Wisconsin with Macabre. And they were like, yeah, we got the contract. Like we signed it. And I was like, what? We can't get these people to send us a contract. Like,
Yeah.
good for you guys. But like, yeah. And then they actually like did a record for the label, obviously, which we did not do. And,
I think they did 4 on Earache.
well, I know, but it was real, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
You want to talk about that?
I mean, I don't know. There's not much more to say other than
Oh, there's
that.
a lot more to say than that, man.
I think another funny moment we had was we did a basement show in Westchester where Oceano played. It was like one of the original lineup. Mm-hmm. And then Rosencrantz played as well.
Oh.
Would for those who don't know, went on to become Born of
Born of
Osiris.
Osiris. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I loved those kids so much. When they were kids, we had so much
were
fun.
kids,
We had so
yeah.
much fun together.
Yeah.
The funny thing was they weren't even like on the show. They just happened to be there, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna play."
yeah.
And I was like, "I don't know who the fuck you are." They
were cool.
They were kids, so I was like, "I have no idea who they were."
I like
And I
that
was
Rosecrans CP. I had it. Well, I have the MP3s of it somewhere.
The one that they did at Gravity.
Probably, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it was like before they got signed to Sumerian. There was like, I don't know.
Yeah, it was definitely before they got signed to Sumerian.
Yeah, I think they did it at Gravity Studios, which I don't think exists anymore. It might in Wicker Park. I never recorded anything there, but I have friends that did.
I believe it. I don't know if they are still
But
there.
yeah, I didn't want to bring up the whole small town murder thing, like, and get really, really in depth into it. I mean, I basically said what happened. Like,
Yeah.
they were like, "We're signing you. Put our logo on your MySpace and tell everyone."
I remember seeing
we
that.
did. And
Yeah.
then
I remember being excited because
there
you
were-
guys were a death metal band and on Media Scare, which was mainly a metalcore label, hardcore label.
yeah, it was just a lot of.
I was just stoked because I'm like, "Oh, cool! Some dudes I know from our area are like gonna go on and do this shit." Like,
I mean, we
fuck
saw
yeah.
we saw as big as Blood Runs Black was at the time, like at least on the internet and stuff. And we were like, shit, that could be us, but like we're like a more brutal version of that. And we weren't really particularly smart in the business. Like I said, like why would you do that? Announce your signing, but we were at
you were
least
kids,
we were really
you know?
just I mean, I think
Yeah.
the oldest of us was maybe 19 or 20 at the time. You know,
crazy.
Oh,
but
wow.
we at least were able to be like, hey, you know, we're not going to record an album for you without a contract.
Yeah.
Like we were smart enough to be like, we know whatever album costs, we're gonna have to pay back. Let's just like make this official. And there was just it basically. I don't know if they were sketched out by us asking for a contract or whatever. These
kids are way too
I don't know
smart
what
for
they're.
us.
I don't really know. I never really got an explanation. I mean, I called everybody and emailed and MySpace messaged everybody at that time like relentlessly. And we never. I mean, we never got an answer. We never got like
they just kind of ghosted you?
yeah. It was like ghosting before ghosting was a thing.
Yeah.
and it
they
wasn't just the
started it.
label. It was also John Clarity. I'll say who it was, a fucking producer that they, after saying that we would do a record at Castle Ultimate and then not booking the time because I reached out to I think it was Zach.
Yeah.
He actually was the only person that ever responded, and he was like, "Yeah, you know, we have some band on the books, but I don't know if it's you guys." And then eventually they were like, "Well, you know, you guys coming out to LA to do a record, it's like kind of complicated, and you should just record with this guy in Chicago. And he had done with Dead Hands Rising album. That I thought sounded.
Expect Hell.
I thought it sounded not great.
Yeah,
nothing against
good.
the band.
I like that record though.
But like, I was just sort of like, I don't know, man. Like,
got anybody else?
We could
for real, dude.
Like, I know people that can make a record that sounds like this. And I had a really long phone conversation with John Clarity.
Who is John Clarity?
I don't know what he's doing now. He was the guy who was going to be the producer.
Oh, okay.
He did a record for them. He did a record with this band, Drowning in Flame. I don't know if you remember them.
Yeah, they were my homies. Yeah, for sure.
He seemed like a nice enough guy, and him and I had a very long phone conversation where I kind of put my expectations out there, and we talked logistically about how we were going to record, and made me feel a lot better and us feel better, and we set up a time for him to come by a rehearsal.
Yeah,
and then he never showed up, and I never heard from him ever again.
Shit!
I called him every day for 2 months.
Wow,
no
and
shit.
he never picked up.
Never picked up.
Never heard anything. Never got a response. MySpace messages, emails.
Huh.
Yeah,
that sucks.
Yeah, it was crazy. That's my version. My sort of version.
Fair enough.
I didn't know if I really wanted to tell, but it's out there. I'll tell you. Hopefully, I don't wake up dead tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, my least favorite song on Mundi is probably
edit that last part out.
No, it's staying.
It's probably like ever. Transcendental Paradox, because I think towards the middle of this record it kind of dips. Like those track number 5 and 6 are kind of like, and even 3.
That was always where I would get lost. And be like, wait, is this another song?
I feel like Ascendant, the 7th song, it's another more melodic track. I like that song, and it kind of like picks the album back up, and then you get Epigenetic Triplicity and
say that again 5 times fast.
Epigenetic Triplicity, nope. And Embryogenesis, but yeah.
You can't pick. We have rules about like not picking outros or instrumentals for at least.
No, I mean that's just what I picked. I mean that was the one for me because like Transcendental Paradox is a song I just don't remember every time I listen to it. I'm like, yeah, I get what you're doing. It's kind of like what 5 of these songs on this record already sound like, but it doesn't really stick.
I kind of like the title though.
Do you?
Yeah, Transcendental Paradox, because it makes me think of transcendental meditation.
Okay.
And however you feel about that, if you believe in that or not, or you do it or not, and it's maybe I don't know. I didn't read the lyrics. It's probably
what's the Death Cab album? Transcend. It's something like that almost.
Did you just reference Death Cab for Cutie on our fucking death metal podcast?
Yeah, because I love that band.
Do you like that band?
Yeah, I did. I liked What the
Trans Am.
What was that album called?
I don't know.
I never thought that band would get brought up on here.
Tom likes that band?
Yo, yeah.
Man, you guys
can't be all brutal all the time.
I know. You should listen to the 1975 instead. They're a much significantly better band.
Ooh. I don't know about that.
I do.
I don't know about Death Cab for Cutie, man. I don't think we need to talk about that. That's all right.
No, we need to transatlanticism.
Okay. Yeah, definitely different.
Definitely a different word.
I don't know. I heard the word trans.
Pontiac.
That could be a lot of words.
Yeah, Trans Am.
Well, it triggered that for me. But that's like one of my favorite albums. Anyway.
Next
Sorry,
podcast.
It's not brutal or death metal.
It doesn't have to be, man.
I mean, it's not new metal either.
So we're going to have to do a third.
I love the new metal podcast. It's really...
Do you like it?
It has expanded my own... Like,
Were you much of a new metal guy?
No.
I've never heard you talk about it.
No.
What were you listening to instead? You were more of the pop... And the punk, not pop, but more. Well,
here's the thing. So
things, right?
I think part of the reason I wasn't a new
cool
metal guy was because I was like a big Limp Bizkit fan when I was like a middle school kid. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
But like at that point, like significant other, I was like jamming that shit all the time when it came out.
Hell yeah.
But when you're that age, it's like you want to like, at least for me, I feel like my taste evolved pretty quickly.
You're hurting me, but go on.
And like, well, for me, the evolution really was just to like listen to pop punk, I guess. Cause
that's fair.
Before I was a musician at all, or at least a guitar player, or a songwriter, or whatever, I listened to a lot of like, hip hop and rap and shit. I was all about like the Cash Money Millionaires, which is funny to say out loud, but it's true. And I think that I was attracted to Limp Bizkit because they were basically like they had that element in their sound. It was like rapping.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, when I started to become more serious, quote unquote, as a preteen,
hurts, but all right.
I just moved on from Limp Bizkit. You know what I mean? And
it's unfortunate.
So that's why like I'm not a big new metal head, or maybe, because I didn't even like metal until I was, until I was like 15 or 16. I started to I saw Dead to Fall and I saw Cannibal Corpse and a bunch of bands and was just like, this is so foreign and weird to me.
What
and
is this
the
world?
guy that sold me my my first PRS, or the one that I don't have anymore, he was like, you're going to be a metalhead someday. And I was like, no way. Like, there's that Tom DeLonge strat over there. I would be just as happy with that. And he's like, no. You're going to be a metalhead eventually. Trust me.
That's funny.
I thought he was full of shit, but
where was the
not.
tipping
Knew
point
you.
for you that you became?
You know what?
You got into metal.
I liked the speed of punk rock and then like that sort of like going from more pop punk stuff to like No Effects to getting more into like hardcore and like crust and like liking stuff that some of it I really did like and some of it I just really wanted to be cooler and
That's fair. Yeah.
And then I heard Rain and Blood, and that was that was a big one for me because
yeah.
it was faster and like it's so funny when I listen to that album now. I can hear everything and I can hear like inconsistencies and like the rhythm playing and how it's two different people. But at the time, I was just like, oh my god, I don't even know what this is. Like this
Mind
is
blowing
crazy
when you're a kid.
Yeah, and also like Iron Maiden changed my life completely. I mean the guitar harmonies, the solos, and then also Kill 'Em All, the Metallica album that I thought was Motorhead the first time I heard it.
That's awesome. Hell
Yeah, that's what because I mean I knew Metallica obviously because they were huge, but I knew them because of Enter Sandman and Load and Reload,
Right,
and I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, that's lame. And then I love Napster and Lars Ulrich. You know, we all were wrong, but we were all blamed Lars for killing Napster, which is I'll say I was wrong, but
That's fair.
I was a kid. We were all kids.
Right. That's funny.
So I kind of got into metal that way. And then also like I went to a Dead to Fall show when I was 14 at Riley's Rock House in Aurora. And it was the scariest thing. I thought everybody there was like in a biker gang and going to stab me.
That's fair.
Because
Dead
I
to
was
Fall
like,
show?
yeah. Well, I was like a little
It's
kid.
also Riley's Rock House, which like this is like way before your time, but it was such a fucking hole in the wall like dive venue. And
I was a little.
It was the shit.
I think Between the Buried and Me actually played that show too, but I don't. I think I've confirmed that since then, which was a band that I got into way into years later.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was just like this scary foreign thing, but. You know, the energy, the speed. Really, it was like I'm a guitar player. I like to play fast. I want music that's faster and more aggressive. You know, it seemed like a natural thing.
Yeah, no, that all adds up. Yeah. Stop it! We're gonna get flagged.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, if you can put it in a minor key too.
About me. We'll try and argue.
I'm telling you,
And he is cool.
I could figure it out. I could figure out a way to arrange that and make it sound like maybe like death metal, black metal version of Damn
yeah,
It.
you could.
Just do it and see if
The world doesn't need that, and it
No,
probably
it doesn't. We're
it
not
probably
doing that. I would never agree to do that.
it probably
shit.
already exists. It probably does.
Probably some
Come on,
Rob
Jason.
Scallon video or some fucking
Oh yeah, those
you know,
YouTube
one of
videos.
those
They're like,
motherfuckers.
sure.
Yeah.
what if Britney
God,
Spears was a
yeah.
death metal
We'll
band?
play the banjo. It's like,
What if
who
they
gives a
played
fuck?
down
Yeah,
tuned?
dude.
It's like God.
Some of that
damn
shit, honestly, some of that stuff I do enjoy. Like I think
you?
I was telling you guys,
I never
like,
watched those.
like,
Neither do
the-
I. I don't buy into the metal parody shit. I'm so
I like-
tired of it.
I wasn't even gonna say parody. I was gonna
I
say
like
like
the parody stuff.
I
Like
hate
this is what they would sound like if they tuned lower. I was like, I don't.
I
care.
like the Metallica
Dude.
stuff where it's like, what if this album sounded like Saint Anger, or what
That
if
one
like
was
Saint Anger
interesting,
sounded like
yeah.
Justice? Like that stuff
That was pretty funny. Yeah.
because it takes a lot of. I mean, it's stupid. Like who needs it?
Right.
But I know that it takes a lot of time and effort to create.
that's a
that
lot
stuff.
of work. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like,
God
oh,
bless
listen.
those people for doing that.
I'm entertained for 5 seconds. Thank you.
Right.
Hopefully you made a little bit of YouTube money off that. If not, I'm sorry. You know, it's not my fault. I did my part.
I did my part.
I did. That's your part. You give them a view or whatever, right?
That's
Like,
fair.
Yeah.
Do you subscribe to any of them?
no.
You
I
should.
subscribe to
You
like
need to help.
I subscribe to Nothing's to No One.
Thank
like
you.
everybody
Hell
should.
yeah.
By the way, we
Yeah,
are,
you're right.
Even though my preferred
We
way
need-
is to listen, I don't like to
you
watch
don't like
them
to
as
watch.
much.
You're not a voyeur. That's fine.
I mean, it's it's just
A
easier.
voyeur.
I can do things while I'm just listening. you
Yeah, it
know?
makes sense. Whacking it. Is that
Yeah,
what
I
you're
hope
implying?
everybody sees what Bill's doing.
yeah, we're on. We have
That's
video.
not what I meant.
He's jerking it. So we have 73 subscribers. We need 27.
Yeah, come on, guys. What the
Almost
fuck?
there. It was an amazing push that we did like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like just shot up. That was awesome. But we need more.
Well, maybe
Just a
people,
get more,
maybe
please.
people like listen to you on Spotify like I do.
No, we do like our audio numbers do very, very well, which is awesome. But I just want that personalized YouTube URL.
YouTube.com/nothings4
Instead of
you have to get a
RPLN.
You have to get 100 subs to get there, right?
Yeah, which is fucking stupid, but I get it.
What happens if you go under 100?
We just have like this.
You go over and then
like
people
what
are
if we
like,
just get 100? We're like, yeah, and then it goes under 100 for a second.
We lose it. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, we got to be on it though. We got to be like, all right, let's make it now.
I gotta do it fast. You get an email apparently when they happen.
Okay.
So I'll be watching like a hawk.
Let's just open 27 fake accounts and
that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is a lot of fucking work.
What is this?
27 fake accounts.
What was that documentary about the? Don't
Wait,
fuck with cats.
why don't you guys just blast it out on the Roman Ring socials and be like, hey, these two guys in this band.
We just
Roman
noticed
Ring.
that cross promotion just doesn't work. That's why.
Oh, that's a deep cut right there.
Oh,
there you go.
All right, we're done.
I've definitely posted on the Warforged page before, and I posted it on a group. Yeah, we got.
I don't know if we've ever posted this. We should
on Roman Ring. Yeah, we might.
I'm worried that. Well, actually, it might work out in our favor because maybe our hundreds of thousands of Indian fans.
Yeah, like fucking.
Is there a wrestler that sounds like nothing's
Pacific
for no
Island,
one?
yeah, Pacific Islands fans.
Our Asian numbers are going to go through the roof.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Oh
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
What was the tipping point of metal for you?
What do you mean? Like what got me into it?
Yeah. Because like you grew up with like the stuff that your dad listened to a lot, which was,
and I also liked Green Day and Blink-182 and shit like that too. It was like listening to Q101 more, honestly. Like I was definitely into some new metal bands like Limp Bizkit, System of a Down.
No, but I mean not just new metal, but I mean like just like getting into like heavy metal. Like what was
in
the
general?
Turning point? Yeah.
I mean for metal, like big metal for me was really when like me and my friend Eric Meyer broke into this dude's locker in 7th grade and stole a bunch of his CDs.
I've heard this.
That's awesome. I don't think I've heard this story.
He had edited copies of Believe by Disturbed and an edited copy of Toxicity by System of a Down. And I remember those songs. I was like, oh yeah, these bands are sick. And like, we took the CDs, put them on my computer, and then like it was all downhill from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I started getting into more shit. But then I started getting to like Metallica, Pantera, Black Dahlia was a big transitionary band for me. Transistor.
I wanted to ask one question really quick. So obviously Pantera is not death metal.
No.
But will Pantera make an appearance on the New Metal podcast is a question.
Ooh.
I don't know. A new metal band.
I
they're
mean,
not, but they're...
what if you do like a later later Pantera records? I
are definitely not new metal. What are you talking about,
man? The argument. I don't know.
I mean, they were in that era, and
because they were a metal band in that era. Damage Plan, yes.
Okay. Pantera, well, I'm just asking, dude. I'm asking because I want to know where the lines are.
No, that is a good question. Because
like, obviously, I can't do Meshuggah, but can Meshuggah be a new metal band then?
Yeah. And you're not on that episode, so don't worry about it.
Did Meshuggah ever like tour with like any new metal bands? Like I know Pantera definitely had.
I mean, technically they probably did because they were like doing Ozfests or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
That counts.
To a certain degree.
So if anybody's done an Ozfest, that's technically a new metal band. We want to put that.
Well, no, but no, I'm saying that they probably
Pantera.
They probably were on tour with new metal bands during Ozfest.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, they didn't have much of a choice.
Yeah,
you know, like in that time, because I mean, who was really doing the Pantera thing other than Pantera at that time?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't really know.
Be interesting to see some tour posters from that era because I wasn't the biggest Pantera fan growing up.
I was.
I liked some of the stuff. You know, I mean, if it was on, I didn't mind it. You know, like
sure.
Unfortunately,
you play guitar, right?
Allegedly, and and this is funny. This is I will lose credit on this. I don't care. But like the only album I ever owned by them was Reinventing the Steel, which is the album that everybody fucking hates. And I was like, I don't know. I thought it was cool at the time, and that's why I bought it.
So wait, is that? I don't even really know because the later Pantera stuff it kind of loses me. Mm-hmm. But the reason why I brought up the new metal thing is there is stuff where they like tune down.
Yeah,
and it's like, and it is kind of like it doesn't have that classic Pantera like riff city and like shredding solos all the time. They get a little more experimental. They're like kind of building off of what Far Beyond Driven was, you know, in terms of just like heavy groove. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's just why I asked.
That's a good question. I don't know. Gobo, you're gonna have to chime in on that.
Yeah, I mean, he can.
That was her last record.
I also know Eddie loves Pantera a shitload, so I was like, it would be, you know, interesting.
Well, maybe once we get a music historian episode with Eddie, and then there's no ramifications of what he like. He can just talk about whatever. Maybe we'll get into. Pantera.
Should we do like a third version of this, or it's
honestly, you should just pick Damage Plan for the next one. Is what you said.
I don't think I've ever listened to Damage.
I don't know
Plan.
if I haven't much.
No,
either.
fuck no.
Okay, sorry.
But
I'm not suggesting.
I feel
I'm
like I
just saying they're a
offended you.
new metal band.
Yeah.
I just said like that would fall, but Pantera does not count, Nate.
I just asked. I didn't say that it should.
I know you asked, and I'm answering you. It doesn't count.
What about Hell Yeah?
Hell no.
What about
that's
Saint
not really
Anger?
new metal.
Does Saint Anger count as a new metal?
No, it doesn't count as a new metal record because it's not a new metal record. It's a killer Metallica album. That's it. We're not saying any more comments about Saint Anger.
We don't have to. I just
Next subject.
What about what about Opeth? Does Opeth count as death metal? Depending on the record?
No, sorry.
To me, I would say, wouldn't it be?
No, they're a progressive metal band. They're like staples of that shit. I mean, they have death metal parts, yeah, but
tomato, Jason.
Yeah, I'll be like, I chose Damnation.
Yeah, nope, not gonna fly here, dude.
That's fair. I really don't like Opeth.
Nate, you know plenty of sick death metal bands. Stop trying to punk me right now.
I'm not trying to punk anybody.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get ready for next time.
What the range is.
There's a billion fucking records you could pick for next time that are way better than everything you're suggesting right now. That I know you listen to.
Just trying to figure out where the line is,
Exactly.
Jason.
I don't know, man. Pick whatever the fuck you want and I'll shoot it down. That's if it's not death metal.
Okay.
I'm serious about the death metal shit, man. I'm not letting Meshuggah fly on this show.
That's fine.
But we can't talk about Meshuggah sometime.
What if it's like the older Meshuggah?
It's definitely, that's even less death metal-y. It's like thrash metal.
Oh, okay.
I just remember. You guys remember the Osbournes?
Yeah,
the show?
fuck yeah, I remember the Osbournes.
I will tell you, the first time that I ever heard of Meshuggah was I was watching an episode of the Osbournes where they were pissed at their neighbors. And Jack Osbourne was like pissed at the neighbors, and he was like, "Oh, fuck these fucking twats!" Like, I can't do the accent. He's like,
good. No,
he's like, I'm gonna blast metal at him, and he kind of like he plugged the band a little bit. He's like, "This is Meshuggah death metal from Sweden," and that was the first time I ever heard of him.
No shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
what did he play?
Funny.
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know if they licensed the music, and I don't remember it that well.
Like something like totally. Like,
It was probably around the time of like Destroy, Erase, Improve, but I could be wrong. I could be completely
Really?
wrong.
Not like nothing?
I don't know. I don't know what year it was.
I feel like that era was nothing.
We could probably look this up.
Sure.
But he was the one that was like death metal, and I was like, oh,
Yeah, he doesn't get it, dude. He's Jack Osbourne.
I mean, he's
Ozzy
Jack-
probably doesn't even get it either.
Dude, you listen to that new Ozzy record? Can we do that one?
No,
is that death metal?
It's not death metal.
I've not listened to it, and
It's
I
metal.
refuse to listen to it. I will listen to it one day, but I have no hankering.
I listened to most of it.
I know.
I couldn't get all the way
Pick
through.
it for the next one.
No, you're not. Well, yeah, I'll shoot it down.
Can't.
Yes, I can.
No.
We all have to be kosher on our picks, man. If I'm not kosher, if you're not kosher, well, basically me and you, Nate and Eddie, are fucking subject to whatever the fuck we say. But
Fair enough.
sorry, Nate.
No, that's cool. I just am like, I'm thinking like, I want to look it up actually.
What do you
I think I brought this up earlier. I think Benighted does like a Killer at the Gates cover.
They do. So does Flesh God Apocalypse.
Oh, I don't know about that
Really?
one.
Yeah, on their Mafia EP, they covered
Oh.
Blinded by Fear or something like that.
I think that was another one that when I heard that riff, I was like, oh, I know. I've heard this before.
Yeah.
And now I know why.
Yeah,
Because I used to play that EP like a
Mafia
shitload.
EP.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Because that song, it's something with an A. Abysmal?
Through Our Scars. That song's on there.
Oh yeah, they
It's
do.
got, like,
That was right. They do.
It's
they
awesome.
do. They do like the best Slaughter of the Soul cover because it has blast beats in it,
Yeah, it's really fast.
and it's not like the guitar playing
Isn't
exactly.
it faster too? than
Yeah,
the
it's way
original?
It's
faster.
crazy, but it's not.
That's
I like
funny.
it because it's their own spin on it. It's not like okay, we're gonna play it perfectly like just the way At the Gates plays it. It's like no, they make it like a Benighted song.
I mean,
Yeah. Well, the Flesh God cover.
Is like
Hold on,
fucking
let me look it
fast,
up.
isn't it?
Yeah,
I remember
it's
like Tom
way
telling me
fast.
like, because this is At the Gates. I was like, yeah, it means nothing to me.
I'm gonna look it up right now. I just don't know what song it is, but it's
I
something.
almost accidentally started playing it off my phone. I try to not do that.
I don't know how it works. We've only been flagged once for a song, and it wasn't even like off of somebody's cell
wasn't
phone,
it from
like-
the thing? What was it? The Catatonic Youths thing?
Yes, it was that
Yeah,
episode.
because I listened to it and I think that like it was
Blind by
cut
Fear,
out.
yeah, they
and I
cut-
was like,
Was it really mutes or something?
I thought you guys did that.
I left it, as far as I know.
Oh,
But it
Abyssal,
might-
yeah, that's the song.
That
you're
song
thinking of.
fucking rules.
Yeah, that EP was awesome.
It was a fun one.
They don't sound like that no more.
But otherwise, I don't know. I don't know what the stipulation is on some of those. I think you can like play it on your cell phone if it's like 5 seconds, 10 seconds or something. I don't think we'll get in trouble.
Just listen to it if you like At the Gates. Listen to Benighted covering Slaughter of the Soul.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't have
I
to
think
play it
what
on my
also
phone.
happens with YouTube is like essentially like if you do make money on the episode, it just goes straight to whoever, whatever artist you have on that episode. Which I'm like, fuck that. I don't care. They can have all the money in the world.
Yeah, for sure.
If it
Who
helps
would
them,
give a shit? Yeah.
fuck yeah, go for it. Yeah. So, is that it? Is that
here.
all
I
we
think
have to
that's it,
say
man.
about
Yeah.
death metal?
That's pretty much it,
Surprise.
man. Yeah, that's all I have really on these 3 records at least.
Nice. So,
Yeah.
Well, I hope somebody out there enjoys this as much as I've enjoyed the new metal ones.
These episodes
see.
always get pretty good reviews. Like people really seem to like it, and they always like pop in.
Yeah,
when they see it.
we'll post them on the death metal groups and shit
I
too
mean,
on
I-
Facebook, so we'll get more feedback from them.
I wouldn't have known about 40 Below Summer if it wasn't for that fucking podcast. Oh my god!
Yeah, that band fucking rules.
Oh, I
I'm
can't
sure
believe
you did not like
I can't
it.
believe you like that band, but it
Oh, I love
it
that
made
band.
me laugh.
Still love them.
Is this where you guys plug things?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
end of the episode. Anything you got to plug? Any of your bands?
just personally, Immortal Bird is playing in Milwaukee at the Cactus Club on March 20th. If you're from Chicago and you really want to make the drive, come. But if you're in Milwaukee, definitely come. We're playing with Resin and Knaves, 2 really good bands. It's
Oh,
kind
cool.
of a diverse bill.
Seth, I don't know if you listen to the show, but you should go to that show.
Yeah. Resin's an awesome band from Chicago. Knaves is actually from Milwaukee, featuring Amanda, who was in Enabler, and some other people. I don't know. Actually, I don't know anyone
I
personally.
remember that band.
But I've seen them. They've played in Chicago, and I'm looking forward to that. And honestly, you know what else I'm looking forward to? No one's gonna say it.
Da-da-da-da. No, I don't know what it
I don't
is.
know.
Oh, the new Roman Ring album that's gonna come out.
Oh yeah,
soon.
we'll say it.
boo.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. March
Well,
20th.
We're gonna drop a single, right? We're gonna drop them.
Yeah, there's a
dropping
single
something.
coming. I don't know when, but it's coming.
Yeah.
We're just
Whenever it
waiting on
clears.
confirmation. Yeah.
Stream.
Don't say that. Gotta edit that out. It's a surprise.
Okay.
Yeah. Can't say that yet. We're just saying it's gonna be out on the 20th.
Okay.
Yep. But Bill laughing. Like,
You ruined the surprise.
yeah, well, no, we'll edit it out.
No one ever told me it was a surprise.
Well, yeah, we're not supposed to say that. It's coming out. That's supposed
Okay.
to be a metal injection exclusive type thing. So
I named that little
Well, yeah,
marker.
I didn't-
Damn it,
I-
Nate. No,
But
that's
yeah.
all right. It's okay.
The new Roman Ring album's coming out.
the
Spilled the
halogen.
beans, but I put them back in,
Yeah,
so
it's-
we're good.
The halogen.
It's
buy
been
it.
it's been
we
a
don't
long
have it
time
for sale,
coming.
but buy it.
Listen to Vatican City if you haven't already.
Everywhere we're
Yeah, we
stuff
just got
is
approved
streaming.
for Napster, so we are now on Napster streaming.
Fuck yeah, dude.
So
We did it.
11-year-old
guys.
Nate
Yeah.
is fucking stoked.
I got the email for it the other day, and I told Jace because Jace uses Napster for his
Wait,
streaming.
that's really he does?
because apparently they pay out artists the best out of all of them.
That's pretty ethical of him.
Yeah, but it's also like they don't have a lot of shit, and like
they can't afford
Dude,
it.
it also apparently
Get our shit on
works really
Napster.
shitty. It is on Napster.
It's Napster's a streaming service now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Stream us. Napster.
Tidal. We're probably on Jay-Z's, which is Tidal. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, all that good
All the
shit.
fun stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, is Tidal the one where you can do like we could do like a full quality thing? or-
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's remix and remaster it for that.
No, I mean we could do like a higher resolution audio file. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
fancy.
But anyway, that's coming up. Yeah. You got anything else, or is that all you got?
No, just the Immortal Bird show and then our album, obviously.
What about you?
Let's see. Something is waiting. Already had a show by the time this aired. Hopefully, some of you guys came out to it.
Yeah.
April 1st, we do have a show at Livewire, and that is the Child Bite. And
Cool.
today's the day show. I'm starting to remember these things now. It's
Nice.
great. Yeah, I need to do that better. And then that's it.
Cool.
That's all I got. What about you? What's going on with Warforged?
At this point, it should be announced. It'll definitely be announced, but we're doing another headliner at Reggie's, the joint. It's going to be on Friday, April 3rd.
Is this another Jason joint?
Yeah, this is my I booked this whole show, and
Fuck yeah.
I handpicked the bands. So we got Vile Secretion, who are really sick, heavy slammy death
Jeremy
metal type
from
shit.
Oceano does vocals.
Speaking of Oceano.
Yeah. So he's on that, and that's going to be awesome because we haven't played with them yet. I've been dying to play with those guys, and we're doing that. We got Coke Goat on the show as well.
Oh, fuck yeah. I did not know that.
Yeah, we got them.
Hell yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome.
They were like the perfect band to find because I
Dude,
asked
that's
about
sick.
7 and I couldn't think of any, and then I was like, oh wait, they'd be awesome. And yeah, they were down, so they're gonna do it.
Fuck yes. Hell yeah.
And my buddy's band Motion Failure is going to be opening. I believe it's going to be their debut show too.
Oh,
so
fuck yeah. Nice.
Should be pretty cool.
Look at you giving back
First
to the
shows.
community.
Yeah.
I love it.
He's good. They're good
Should've
buddies
got
of
thieves
mine.
again,
and,
but
like,
whatever. Yeah.
they're playing literally the day
I don't
after.
care.
So
They make them play
at Reggie's, they're
Yeah.
playing the same room as
If
us
anybody
after.
has an opportunity to put thieves on a show, put them on a fucking show.
Yeah, well, they're playing the same venue the next day. So
Doesn't matter, dude.
you have to go to
Back.
both, or just go to theirs and not come to mine.
That sounds good.
You like Coco? You lit
Yeah.
up when I said that.
That band rules.
Yeah, isn't that sick? Yeah, it's sick.
That's a good lineup, man.
That is a good
Yeah,
lineup.
it's cool. It's different. You know what I mean? Like a couple different bands. So
Yeah, no,
get a lot of
kinda
different
like how you did
stylings.
last time. It was
Yeah, that's
awesome.
exactly what I wanted to do.
That was a great.
so.
Yeah, that show was fucking
See,
awesome.
my bladder's gonna explode right now. Should
Mine
I go?
too.
Should I go do it or?
Yeah, we could call it.
pee, and
No,
then
I
when you
mean,
come back,
pee,
we'll
come
do the
back.
last
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
plug.
What's the last
Well,
plug?
the YouTube plug.
Oh, yeah. Well, cool.
All right, that's all I got.
Yeah, thanks for
That's it
listening, guys.
The metal episode 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. We'll see you guys next week. I believe our guests are Ivan and Alex.
Yeah.
right?
Yep. Ivan and Alex. That'll be
Those
wild.
worlds are gonna collide. It's
Yeah.
gonna be great. Yeah, that's it.
Hoping I could get Alex to smoke on the podcast.
Why
Because
wouldn't
then there's
he?
no holds bar. I don't know. No pressure. I can't pressure that dude because then he's not on his A game. So
He does well if you don't.
yeah.
Yeah. He also, I think, stole the night of the show by saying, "Do you have a leaky clam?" And that's been
Oh, did
stuck
you like that?
in the back of my head since, and I can't stop laughing about it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Stupid
It
as
made me
fuck.
forget about the show. It just remembered that.
Yeah,
So that
that's
was
funny. I
fucking
forgot about
phenomenal.
that.
How could you forget about that?
I don't know. He
Probably
did
because he
say-
has so much other shit, right?
Yeah, it's literally one thing after another with that dude. Yeah, that was
Fair
great.
enough. That was the funniest thing I ever heard.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you, everybody. We'll
Yeah.
see you guys next week. Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.
Nothing's for no one. The best podcast there is. The podcast to end all podcasts. Please like, subscribe, and comment.
Perfect.
That's all I got.